Chapter 2242. When Tianyun saw the expressions of the two giant beasts, he instantly laughed. They had just killed 20 of their companions, and now they were going to kill another 20. He did not know how many similar trials there were, but from this point, he was sure that many trials were related to the giant beast clan. When that time came, they would kill their companions in a frenzy. That would be really funny. Although it was not a big deal for the two giant beasts to kill their own kind, it was still very sullen. No one liked to kill their own kind, especially when there was no benefit in doing so. Other than him and Tian Xinghuan, probably no one else knew about this. Zhu Xing was not here. After seeing the rules, he probably directly killed his way forward and did not wait for them to come over. After being humiliated, Zhu Xing did not dare to stay here anymore. He could only kill his way out and attack those giant beasts. Let's finish the trial too, Tianyun said with a smile, and with Heavenly Star Ring, he rushed forward. Jing Xian's beautiful eyes narrowed. Looking at Tianyun's back as he left, she also followed him to kill the giant beasts. As they were not in a cooperative relationship, Jing Xian still acted alone. Roar! A loud roar came from the side of the giant rock. Following that, a giant beast covered in thick stone scales pounced over. Tianyun raised his saber and easily cut this giant beast in half. Even though it had thick stone scales, he could still find the weakest spot and cut it in half. How could he kill it with one slash? Tian Xinghuan was speechless. After inspecting the giant beast's defense, it was obvious that the giant beast's defense was much stronger than before. The thick stone scales didn't seem to have any gaps. Even in this case, Tianyun still found the weakest point of the giant beast and cut it in half. When she saw the cut, Tian Xinghuan's heart trembled. It was quite perfect. If it were her, she would definitely not be able to do it so perfectly. She had killed many giant beasts before, so she was more familiar with killing giant beasts. However, familiarity was one thing, but there was still a huge gap, especially the giant beast in front of her. It was completely different from the giant beast she had encountered before. Its various structures and the stone scales on its body were much more difficult to kill than before. It could be said that they were not of the same species. She had to find the detailed weakness to kill them. This required her to get used to it and find the weakness again. Compared to the giant beast she had killed before, the biggest difference was its defense. Previously, Zhang Xian had been able to injure his opponent with just a casual slash. Now, however, he could no longer do so. If he were to casually slash, he would only hit the thick stone scales. But for Tianyun, this new giant beast was not a problem at all. Once you master it, you can also kill it in one strike. Tianyun comforted him. How proficient must I be to be able to do this? Tian Xinghuan smiled bitterly. She felt that she would have to kill at least a few hundred to achieve this. Don't be discouraged. Take your time. There is no need to rush. Tianyun said. Let's go, I will support you. Tian Xinghuan nodded heavily. This was the only thing they could do at the moment. They continued to kill the giant beasts. As they had just started, Tian Xinghuan needed to spend a lot of time to kill one giant beast. She became more familiar with the second giant beast and slowly improved. Finally, after killing more than 10 giant beasts, she mastered some techniques. Perhaps she cannot compare to Tianyun, but overall, it was much smoother. She killed the giant beasts much faster. After killing 20 giant beasts, there was another guiding force. Just like before, as long as they reached the corresponding value, they would be able to reach the exit. When they arrived, they saw Jing Xian was still waiting there. She was much faster than them. Young Master Tianyun, we are slower this time. Jing Xian smiled. Young Master Zhu went in long ago. He did not wait for us. The giant beasts here are harder, so it is more difficult, Tianyun said with a smile. As for him, he just wants to rush all the way to the end of this trial as soon as possible. Young Master Tianyun, do you have any thoughts about this trial? Jing Xian finally asked. She had not asked before, but after passing this trial, she could not help but ask. I don't have any thoughts. Won't we know the situation if we kill our way in? Tianyun did not say his guess. He did not need to discuss this with Jing Xian. They were not familiar with each other. God knows what she would find out from him. Jing Xian's eyes flashed with disappointment. She stared at Yi Tianyun and said, "You are right. Let's continue the trial." After saying that, she turned around and walked in, ignoring Yi Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan. "Young master, Yi," she deliberately waited here for you. You're giving her the cold shoulder. Tian Xinghuan smiled. When there was no one else around, she would only call Yi Tianyun young master, Yi. You know how capable she is. If you chat with her more, she might be able to analyze what I'm saying. Although there are no secrets, it is not a good thing to be seen through. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. If you chat with her more, Sister Jing Xian might fall in love with you. When the two of you become Dao companions, it will be amazing. Tian Xinghuan teased. No, I have no interest in her. Yi Tianyun was not interested in this topic at all. There is no need to say such things. I already have a wife. As he said the last sentence, his expression became very serious. Tian Xinghuan could not help but stick out her tongue. She did not expect Yi Tianyun to be so single-minded. Logically, there was no need for such an expert to be so single-minded. The key was the situation of his Dao companion. If his cultivation was too low, he would not be worthy. Yi Tianyun did not have such thoughts. Instead, his thoughts shifted to the situation outside. They should be making their move. Yi Tianyun's eyes flickered. This time, he was not the only one who entered. His forces were also coming. This was a plan that had been formulated long ago. Soldiers were trained for 1,000 days to be used in a single moment. Such a grand purple gold divine pavilion definitely needed to send forces in to investigate. The most important thing was to guard against the giant beast clan. They had to plant spies everywhere. If there were any problems, they would inform him immediately. Informing him was very simple. He had an avatar outside. As long as he informed his avatar, he would know what was going on outside. There was no way to send a message through a voice transmission. Immediately, Yi Tianyun led his people to the next stage. Chapter 2243. Yi Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan walked through the long passageway and soon arrived at the next stage. As soon as they arrived, they heard a powerful voice. You have to kill 20 giant beasts to pass this trial. The rules this time did not surprise Yi Tianyun. He had speculated that it was related to the giant beast clan. Sure enough, the third stage of the trial was related to the giant beast clan, and they had to kill 20 of them as well. The scene in front of them changed slightly and turned into a world of ice and snow. Snow danced in front of them and almost blocked their vision. In this snow, they could vaguely see a giant beast in the distance. It was covered in a thick armor of ice and snow and emitted a faint white light. Zhu Xing and Jing Xian immediately rushed out to kill the 20 giant beasts. Although it was the same as before, they had no choice but to carry it out. Moreover, these giant beasts looked different, so it would be more difficult to deal with them. This could be seen from the first and second stages. The difficulty had increased by a few levels. It was the same now. In terms of cultivation, these giant beasts did not increase much, but the change in their bodies increased their defense and power. Let's go too. Yi Tianyun did not waste time. He led Tian Xinghuan forward and started hunting for giant beasts. Soon, they found the first giant beast. The biggest difficulty of the giant beasts here was their ice and snow armor. Not only was it hard, but also contained extreme cold ice. After it was released, it could slow down the enemy. However, this did not affect Yi Tianyun's ability. He easily killed these giant beasts with one slash. Tian Xinghuan was more difficult. It took a lot of effort to deal with them, and he also had to adapt to the giant beasts here. Due to the experience from the previous two stages, he quickly became familiar with dealing with them. Although the giant beasts were different, they were similar in nature. They were all at the giant beast level. It was just a targeted attack. The 20 giant beasts were quickly killed. Yi Tianyun was quite satisfied with Tian Xinghuan's rapid improvement. His talent might not be heaven-defying, but his comprehension ability was quite good. This time, when they arrived at the passageway, they bumped into Zhu Xing and the others. When Zhu Xing saw them, his face darkened. He did not expect Yi Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan to arrive with them. Previously, both Yi Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan had taken a long time to arrive. Whether it was the first stage or the second stage, they were much slower than them. Who would have thought that in the third round, he would catch up with them and be on par with them? Moreover, they had entered earlier than Yi Tianyun and the others. Under such circumstances, they were still able to arrive at the same time. This was truly shocking. How is this possible? How can you guys be so fast? I came in before you guys. Zhu Xing felt that it was inconceivable. Logically speaking, they should be slower. He felt that it would not be easy to deal with the giant beast this time. He would have to put in more effort. Who knew that Yi Tianyun and the others would be faster than him? Young Master Zhu, I didn't expect that we would be able to arrive together with you. Could it be that you meditated and cultivated along the way? Tian Xinghuan did not forget to mock others. Previously, Zhu Xing had mocked them for being too slow. Now, it was their turn to mock them. That's right. I had some enlightenment along the way, so I rested for a while. You guys caught up. Zhu Xing shamelessly lied. He did not want to admit that Tian Xinghuan and the others had surpassed him. Oh, I told you that you were going to cultivate, and you really did. It's snowing everywhere. Aren't you afraid of freezing to death by cultivating here? Tian Xinghuan's eyes were filled with mockery. This Zhu Xing was really shameless. Speaking of which, Jing Xian had also arrived here. Otherwise, he would not have been so shameless. What do you know? I can't be bothered to argue with you guys. I hope that you guys can arrive at the same time as me in the next trial. Zhu Xing glanced at Jing Xian and continued to rush forward. He did not continue to stay here. He had already lied. How could he still have the nerve to stay here? He could only turn the tables in the next round. Young Master Tianyun, you guys are quite fast. You actually caught up in such a short time. Jing Xian was quite surprised. She did not know how they did it. Of course, I increased my speed. Naturally, I caught up very quickly. Tian Xinghuan even praised himself. However, he quickly lowered his head and sighed. However, it's because of me that I slowed down my speed. If young Master Tianyun came alone, I don't even know how fast he would be. Jing Xian narrowed her eyes and looked at Yi Tianyun. She always felt that she could not see through Yi Tianyun. It would be great if she could team up with Yi Tianyun. However, Yi Tianyun did not intend to team up with her at all. If it were any other cultivator, they would have been more than happy to do so. Whether it was ability or appearance, Jing Xian was definitely one of the best. No one could reject her invitation. She was the only one who could reject others. However, Yi Tianyun rejected her. He was really a weirdo. Jing Xian was not ashamed or angry. If he did not want to team up, then so be it. She would definitely be able to find out more in the future. It seems that young Master Tianyun is quite experienced in dealing with giant beasts. Jing Xian began to probe again. It's all right. Let's not talk too much. Let's go to the next stage. Yi Tianyun cupped his hands and led Tian Xinghuan to the next stage. If he continued to chat with her, she would definitely continue to probe. He did not have the time to be entangled with Jing Xian. Jing Xian looked at their backs as they left. Her red lips parted slightly, and she muttered, "This is really interesting. I must investigate you thoroughly and find out what kind of background you have." Jing Xian's beautiful eyes flashed with determination. No one could stop her from doing something she had decided on. After passing through the long passage, they proceeded to the next stage. The next stage was still the same, killing giant beasts. It was not that they could not kill giant beasts. It was just that they felt a little bored along the way. Normally, they would be fighting for treasures. What was the point of killing these giant beasts? However, they could only do this. Perhaps they could find some treasures as they continued to kill. The fourth stage of the trial turned into a fiery region again. It was completely different from the third stage. There's nothing much to say. Let's kill. Yi Tianyun did not find it boring. In fact, he found it pretty good. That was because all the giant beasts he killed along the way were great star venerables. He had obtained quite a lot of star energy, which made him feel quite satisfied. Although breaking through now required astronomical amounts of star energy, if he accumulated it bit by bit, it would be quite worthwhile to use it to become an astral tattoo master, let alone increase his cultivation. Chapter 2244. Tian Xinghuan increasingly disliked Zhu Xing, so she wanted to slap him in the face. Zhu Xing was so arrogant, looking down on everyone just because he had a unique stellar aspect. Slap his face. Tianyun smiled slightly. Tian Xinghuan was really ruthless when she wanted to. Indeed, no matter who they provoked, they could not provoke women. They were especially vengeful. That's right. Let's not delay any further. Let's start now. Tian Xinghuan really wanted to see Zhu Xing's twisted face, to see how he could still be so smug. Okay. Tianyun nodded and rushed forward with Tian Xinghuan. This time, the behemoth had also changed. Its body was covered in flames, and before they got close, they could feel the terrifying flames rushing towards them. If they fought it head-on, the more they attacked the behemoth, the more they would be burned by the flames. However, no matter how terrifying the behemoth was, it was still a matter of one slash for Tianyun. With a simple slash, it was still split into two. Tian Xinghuan's killing speed had also greatly increased. Previously, she needed to kill a few behemoths to become more proficient. Now that she had only killed the first beast, she seemed to be very familiar with it, and could easily kill the behemoth. This situation was like a veteran slaughtering behemoths, and she seemed to be quite relaxed. You're getting more and more proficient. This is only your first time encountering a flame beast, and you can already deal with it so easily. You have improved a lot during this period of time. Tianyun could not help but praise. If this continued, she would probably be stronger than him. This is all thanks to young Master Yi's guidance. It's much better than my brother's. Tian Xinghuan was extremely excited. She felt that she had improved by being able to kill the behemoth so smoothly. If Brother Tian was here, he would definitely be unhappy. Tianyun said with a smile. I'm speaking the truth. My brother's teaching level is not as good as yours. With a little guidance, he will clearly know how to deal with behemoths. Tian Xinghuan said with a smile. In the future, wherever you go for training, you must bring me along. Don't worry. Now that you fellows have joined my force, if there is any danger in the future, I will bring you fellows along first, Tianyun said with a smile. All right, it's a deal. Not only was Tian Xinghuan not afraid, she even felt a little excited. She loved this kind of excitement. Moreover, this mission is definitely dangerous. Don't forget what our real goal is. Tianyun smiled. Tian Xinghuan's expression turned serious. Their true goal was to repel the giant beast race and destroy their ambitions. They came here to train, but it was just to see if there were any treasures. The battle would reach its climax when the giant beasts made their move. Immediately after, they continued to kill the giant flame beasts. As they slashed their way forward, 40 giant flame beasts were easily killed. Tianyun had reaped a bountiful harvest and obtained a considerable amount of star energy, which made him very satisfied. At this rate, it would not be a problem for him to break through to the late-stage Grand Star Venerate. At least, based on the current situation, he did not feel any pressure at all. Since he assisted Tian Xinghuan in killing the giant beasts, he could also obtain star energy. Perhaps he could not obtain all of it, but it was better than nothing. Every time Tian Xinghuan killed the giant beasts, Tianyun would make the first move and add a small slash. That way, he would be able to obtain star energy. Tian Xinghuan was puzzled by this. She did not know why Tianyun would do this. It's over. Let's hurry to the exit. Tian Xinghuan was extremely excited. Compared to the third stage of the trial, their speed was much faster. Under these circumstances, she felt that there was hope of surpassing Zhu Xing. As expected, when they arrived at the exit, they were indeed the first to arrive. Zhu Xing and the others had not arrived yet. It was easy to find out. The passage would indicate whether anyone had passed. If someone had passed, there would be a sign. Now that there was no sign, it meant that no one had passed. Great, we finally surpassed them. Tian Xinghuan was extremely excited. Her face was flushed. How could she not be happy to surpass Jing Xian and Zhu Xing, the two great geniuses? Tianyun smiled and shook his head. It seemed that Tian Xinghuan had almost forgotten their goal. They had just stated their goal earlier, and now they were so happy that they did not know what to do. This was nothing like a great star venerable, but he could understand Tian Xinghuan's thoughts. They could not stand those high and mighty geniuses who were so arrogant, just because their families were powerful and they had some talent. Look at Jing Xian. She doesn't have such arrogance, and her attitude towards others is quite good. However, Yi Tianyin did not like her. This woman was too scheming. If he was not careful, he would be plotted against. After they waited there for a while, Zhu Xing hurried over. When he saw the two of them guarding the passage, his expression changed. "You're so fast. Young Master Zhu, what's the reason this time? Are you going to cultivate along the way, or are you going to rest along the way?" Tian Xinghuan looked at him with a smile. She was starting to beat him when he was down. At this moment, Jing Xian also came over. Her speed was about the same as Zhu Xing's. According to the actual situation, she was faster than Zhu Xing. After all, Zhu Xing was in the middle stage of Great Star Venerable, while Jing Xian was only in the early stage of Great Star Venerable. If their speeds were about the same, Jing Xian would definitely be faster. "How can you be so fast? Are you cheating?" Zhu Xing did not refute this time. He did not believe that the two of them could be faster than him. Not to mention that Yi Tianyun is alone. Now he is also carrying a burden. How can he be so fast? Cheating? Then you can try to cheat and surpass us. Tian Xinghuan rolled his eyes at him. How could he come up with such a reason? Zhu Xing's face was ashen. He didn't say a word and walked forward, ignoring them. He did not know how to refute this time. They were fast, and there was nothing to refute. He did not feel good after being humiliated like this. When he approached them, he suddenly said coldly, "Fight with me if you can." What he was most proud of was his fighting power. Everything else was just SOSO. No problem. If the protective shield is removed, I will fight with you anytime. Yi Tianyin replied indifferently. He had been unhappy with Zhu Xing for a long time, but he was too lazy to refute him. If he wanted to use words, he would use his fist to seal his mouth. Good. Zhu Xing glanced at them coldly and continued walking forward, ignoring them. Jing Xian walked over and said with a smile, "This speed is really shocking. Young Master Tianyin, what method did you use to achieve this?" "Nothing much. I just fought my way here." Yi Tianyin shrugged his shoulders and said, "Sister Tian Xing, you were just SOSO in this aspect. You improved so quickly. Looks like young Master Tianyun's method is really extraordinary." Jing Xian smiled faintly. "I hope you can show me your ability when you fight with young Master Zhu." Chapter 2245. There will be a chance. Yi Tianyin replied casually, which was equivalent to answering Jing Xian's question. "I'll be waiting." Jing Xian replied with a smile. Her beautiful eyes flickered with a special light. She was indeed looking forward to Yi Tianyun's strength. She wanted to study Yi Tianyun's strength in depth to see how strong he was. Then, they continued forward. After passing through the tunnel, they finally arrived at a different area. In front of them was no longer killing giant beasts. Instead, there were 5 doors. Among them, the door in the middle was the largest. The other 4 doors led to unknown places. Zhu Xing stayed at the side and frowned. He did not know what to choose. Yi Tianyun and the rest saw a rule above them. Defeat the guardians of the 4 doors, and you will receive different rewards. If you defeat all the guardians, you will receive the purple gold key to open the main door. Zhu Xing was considering which door to deal with first. Every guardian was different. Naturally, the difficulty was different too. Let's just pick this one. Zhu Xing randomly chose a door and rushed in. After opening the door quickly closed and did not open again. It seemed that only after Zhu Xing failed or succeeded could people continue to challenge the door. "It's here." At this moment, 2 figures rushed in from outside the door and pounced into the other 2 doors. Before Yi Tianyun and the rest could enter, they were already forced in. "It's the giant beasts," Tian Xinghuan exclaimed. He did not expect them to arrive so quickly. This did not surprise Yi Tianyun. They were originally from the giant beast race. It was very easy to deal with the giant beasts. After all, they were of the same race. They definitely knew their weaknesses. As for the giant beasts here, they would not let the two beasts kill them. As long as their cultivation was not too high, these giant beasts would not be willing to be killed. Instead, they would choose to resist. Moreover, these giant beasts have been staying here all the time. They did not have any team spirit or sense of ownership. Even if they were of the same race, they would still be killed without mercy. Therefore, they spent a lot of effort, but their overall speed was still relatively fast. If they could kill the giant beasts here at will, that would definitely be the fastest speed. With a wave of their hand, a large number of giant beasts would pounce on them. They would be able to kill them at will. They would still be ranked first. However, he was still following closely behind them, so he was still quite fast. These be asterisk stards, they went in first. There's only one door left. Tianxing Huan panicked. She did not know what they would get if they opened the door in the middle, but it was definitely not a good thing if they went in first to deal with the guards. There was only the three of them left at the last door. Who would go in first? Young Master Tianyun, there's only one door left. Why don't you go in first? Jing Xin gestured for Tianyun to go in first. She wasn't in a hurry. No, Miss Jing Xin should go first. I'm not in a hurry. Tianyun smiled and said. Tianxing Huan was overjoyed. He quickly pulled on Tianyun's clothes and said, "We can't miss this opportunity. Hurry up and go in. If someone else steals it from us, we'll be in trouble." In this trial, whoever defeated the four guards first would be able to enter. No one knew what was behind the gate, but there were definitely many treasures behind it. Especially now, whoever went in first and passed would obtain a quarter of the qualifications. This was a race against time to see who was faster. This opportunity should be given to Miss Jing Xin. After all, Miss Jing Xin tried to persuade us about the matter with the Chu clan, Tianyun said with a smile. Tianxing Huan didn't expect Tianyun to be so polite. Even at this time, he was still so polite. She had to admit that he was quite gentlemanly. Jing Xion's beautiful eyes flickered. She also didn't expect such an outcome. Tianyun was too polite. It wasn't that she wasn't anxious, but she wanted to see what Tianyun would do. She didn't expect Tianyun to be so gentlemanly and give her the opportunity first. All right then, I'll accept this favor. Jing Xian smiled and walked forward without hesitation. Then, she disappeared through the last door. After they all entered, only Tianyun and Tianxing Huan were left in the hall. Tian Kuangyue and the others hadn't arrived yet, but it was only a matter of time before they arrived, unless they died along the way. The scene here made the Chu clan's people's faces quite strange. Tianyun and the others actually gave up such a good opportunity. They could all see what this meant. Perhaps only one person would be able to enter in the end. But now, Tianyun seemed to have a mental problem and gave up the opportunity. The Tian clan's people's faces were also very interesting. They all felt that Tianyun was really crazy, letting go of such a good opportunity. However, they paid more attention to the two cultivators who broke in. They had never seen their faces before, but they were the first ones to enter, which made them feel even more ridiculous. For a moment, they were all guessing the identity of the two cultivators and which force they belonged to. You guys are really stupid to cooperate with him. Tian Xingfeng and the others revealed a mocking look. They felt that Tian Yuyuan and Tianyun's cooperation was really a wrong choice. Really? I think at least it's much better than cooperating with you. Tian Yuyuan's expression was indifferent. He didn't regard these people in front of him as his clansmen. He had completely cut off relations with them a long time ago. Even if his biological father was standing in front of him, he wouldn't feel the slightest bit of emotion. Humph, at least our people won't give up the benefits to others at such a critical moment. Tian Yuyuan coldly snorted and retorted without any trace of politeness. Really? But you don't even see him. Maybe he died on the way? Tian Yuyuan said sarcastically. Impossible. Tian Kuangyue definitely has no problem with these trials. Tian Xingfeng said sternly. Even if he rushed over, do you think he can compete with him? Tian Yuyuan coldly snorted. Why can't he compete with them? Anyway, the opportunity will be given to others. Who knows? maybe he will generously give it up. Tian Shengfeng retorted again. While there was a fierce quarrel outside, Yi Tianyun's mouth curled into a smile. Everything was under his control. Young master, and now we can only wait here for others to come out. Tian Xinhuan sighed. Originally, they could all go in, but who knew that the two giant beasts would take advantage of the situation and enter? Who said we need to wait for others to come out? Tianyun laughed. Come, let's open the door. What, open the door? Tian Xinhuan was startled, wondering if he had heard wrong. Isn't the door closed? How do we open it? With the key, we can open it, Tianyun said with a smile. With the key? Tian Xinhuan was stunned. Where did the key come from? Chapter 2246. Tianyun had been thinking about how to use the key. Now, the answer was obvious. It was obvious that the door in front of him corresponded to the purple gold key. In this way, he didn't need to pass the other levels and could easily open the door. Others were fighting bitterly to get the key as soon as possible. Now, the key was in Tianyun's hands. It was really funny. Although they could still get the key after passing the 4 levels, it would be too late by the time one of them got the key. Tianyun didn't even know how many treasures he had taken to open the door with the key. Follow me. Tianyun brought the heavenly star ring to the front of the door and looked at it. There was a keyhole on it. As long as the key was inserted, the door could be opened. While he was looking at it, the people watching below laughed. Is he trying to break the door by force? How naive. Hee. Maybe he thinks he has the key and can open the door. Key? Where can the key come from? The key can only be obtained by defeating the 4 guards. They all laughed and thought that Tianyun was wasting time. It was such a good opportunity, but now he was giving it away. How could he not waste his time? While the people were laughing at him, Tianyun really took out a key. It was glowing with purple light and looked very magical. Haha, there really is a key. Does he think he can open it just because he can insert it? Maybe he can open it. He just happened to find a key that can be inserted. What a joke. If it can be opened, I also have a key that can be inserted. Would there be people in the purple gold divine pavilion? That's right. How can he get the real key without defeating the 4 guards? When they saw this situation, they almost cried from laughing. They had seen stupid people, but they had never seen such a stupid person. The rules clearly said so. Did he think that if the keyhole could be inserted, it could really be opened? Many of the keyholes were about the same size, but how could it be opened after being inserted? A real key would have a corresponding star pattern inside it. This meant that after the star pattern was filled in, the entire star pattern would be completely lit up. Only then would the door truly be opened. Therefore, if a random key was stuffed in, it would not match. Just when they all thought that Tianyun's head had been kicked by a donkey, the entire door suddenly blossomed with dazzling light. The star patterns on the door were all lit up. Soon, the door let out a rumbling sound and slowly opened. The group of cultivators who had mocked them were dumbfounded and speechless. The whole place fell into a dead silence. Those who had previously mocked Tianyun were now speechless. Their mouths hung open as if they were eating air. It's really open? One of them suddenly spoke up. He was also scared silly by this scene. Inside, Tian Xinhuan was also shocked. He did not expect that Tianyun really had the key. She had thought that Tianyun was joking. Who would have thought that he really had the key and had even opened it? I told you that he had the key, didn't I? Tianyun smiled. Sure enough, this purple gold key could be opened. If it could not be opened, it would be embarrassing. Where did you get this key? Tian Xinhuan was dumbfounded. I picked it up outside. Tianyun made up an excuse. Who would believe that? Tian Xinhuan rolled her eyes at him, but did not care too much. Anyway, it was fine as long as the door could be opened. There was no need to care about where Tianyun found it. As long as he found it, it was fine. Immediately, she became very excited. Now, we are much ahead of them. We don't even need to defeat any guards to enter. If they come out and find out that we have entered, I wonder if they will die of anger. No wonder, young master, he was so calm. You already had the key, but you still pretended to be generous and let Sister Jingxin in. I can see that your actions just now have improved Sister Jingxin's impression of you. But the reality is completely different. Tian Xinghuan wanted to laugh when she thought about what happened just now. If Yi Tianyun had pursued Jingxin, there would definitely be no chance. Forget it. I don't need her to improve her impression of me. She is too smart. If I stay by her side, I won't even know when I will be schemed against. Yi Tianyun shook his head. Such a woman was too scheming. It would not be easy to be friends with her. Let's not talk about this. The door is about to open. Let's go in and see what's inside. Okay. Tian Xinghuan was extremely excited. This time, she had picked up a bargain. She did not have to do anything, but she could enter with them to fight for the treasure. How could she not be excited? After the door opened a gap, they quickly went in. After the two of them entered, the door quickly closed. As for the key, it was taken away by Yi Tianyun. It would not be left above. After they entered, the people watching below could not see the details at all. They all wanted to know what was inside the door. But now they were not allowed to see. They could only see the outermost part. Damn it, they went in. Chu Hitong and the others stomped their feet in anger. When they thought about the people they sent in defeating the guards, they felt very angry. Even the Zhu family did not look good, let alone the Chu family. They had paid such a high price, but it was not as good as Yi Tianyun's own key. Brother Yi, you really have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. Tian Yuan smiled. He felt that things were not so simple. Given Yi Tianyun's character, how could he let others get ahead of him? The expressions of the Tian family became even more gloomy. Previously, they had mocked Tian Yuan for being a fool for cooperating with Yi Tianyun. Now, they did not know who was the real fool. While the situation outside was changing, Yi Tianyun entered the door with Tian Xinghuan. As soon as they entered the door, a wave of purple spirit qi surged towards them and entered their bodies. Immediately, they felt their bodies strengthening bit by bit. Even their cultivation levels were improving. Tian Xinghuan's improvement was the most obvious. She was about to break through to the mid-stage Star Venerable Realm. Yi Tianyun would not waste it either. He started absorbing the spirit qi. However, he was increasing his star energy. It was increasing by more than 1,000,000 star energy. It was not a lot, but at least it would keep increasing. It looked like he could still absorb it for a long time. If he accumulated it, he might really be able to break through to the late-stage Star Venerable Realm. Chapter 2247. Yi Tianyun and Tian Xinghuan stayed inside and absorbed the purple gas like crazy. After absorbing for a while, the purple gas in the surroundings quickly thinned. Tian Xinghuan had started to break through to the middle stage of the Great Star Venerable Realm. As for Yi Tianyun, his star energy had also reached the late stage of the Great Star Venerable Realm. I have reached the star energy needed to break through to the late stage of the Great Star Venerable Realm. Let's break through then. Yi Tianyun did not hesitate. As long as he could break through, he would not let go of the opportunity. After deducting a large amount of star energy, he had basically used up all his star energy. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully breaking through to the late stage of the Great Star Venerable Realm. Finally, after killing so many giant beasts and absorbing a large amount of purple gas, he could finally break through to the late stage of the Great Star Venerable Realm. However, if he wanted to break through to a higher level, he would need to improve his Star Dharma Idol. His Star Dharma Idol was currently at the 4th level. This meant that he would need to upgrade it to the 5th level to increase his cultivation. If he wanted to upgrade to the 5th level of the Star Dharma Idol, he would need even more precious divine medicine. The entire Red Moon planet basically had none. Otherwise, there would have been no divine star venerables. Once such a divine medicine appeared, the entire Red Moon planet would go crazy. To break through to the 5th level, the two known divine medicines were the Venerate Breaker Flower and the Star Divine Grass. These two extremely precious divine medicines could not be found on the Red Moon planet. As for the Desolate Dragon planet, there was no need to mention it. However, Yi Tianyun was not disheartened. Perhaps the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion had these two divine medicines. Venerate Breaker Flower and Star Divine Grass. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed. So many great star venerables had come here to search for these two divine medicines. Star Venerable level treasures were precious, but breaking through one's own strength was the most important. If one had the cultivation of a divine Star Venerable, even if the other party had a Star Venerable level treasure, they would still be able to crush them with a single slap. After the breakthrough, Onion shifted his gaze to the surroundings. The purple chi here was not enough to satisfy him anymore. The heavenly star ring was still in the process of breaking through. So, Onion stood up and looked around. Looking around, there were no special treasures, nor were there any control panels. It was just an empty room. As he took a few steps forward, a beam of divine light suddenly descended from the empty space in front of him. A handsome man dressed in purple appeared in his line of sight. After the purple-clothed man slowly landed, he looked at him with a smile on his face. A strong sense of familiarity surged from his body, making people feel very close. Looking at him, it was as if they had known each other for many years. Onion looked at him, using his super appraisal eyes to scan him up and down. Detailed information immediately appeared in front of him. Purple Cloud Star Emperor, a wisp of the Purple Cloud Star Emperor's divine consciousness. It has the cultivation of a divine, Star Venerable, and controls everything in the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion. Purple Cloud Star Emperor. Etienne's eyes narrowed. He did not expect the purple-clothed man in front of him to have such a background. However, he had never heard of the title of Purple Cloud Star Emperor. It could only be said that there was too little information here, and it was too long ago. The Wild Dragon Star and the Crimson Moon Star did not know about the past. The most terrifying thing was that just a wisp of his divine consciousness had the cultivation of a divine, Star Venerable. His real cultivation was probably the Star Emperor, a legendary title. Hey, you're the heir of the five-colored Emperor Dragon. After sizing up Etienne for a moment, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor immediately recognized what his unique starry Dharma power was. My lord, you know the five-colored Emperor Dragon? Etienne's heart sank. Being recognized was either a good thing or a bad thing. He did not know what the relationship between the Purple Cloud Star Emperor and the five-colored Emperor Dragon was. If they were enemies, it would be really scary. Perhaps the Purple Cloud Star Emperor would kill him right away. On the other hand, if he had a good relationship with the five-colored Emperor Dragon, he could reap benefits. This was a 50-50 chance, which was equivalent to a gamble. Although they had been dealing with the giant beasts along the way, and logically speaking, they should be on the same side as the five-colored Emperor Dragon. But who could say for sure? But from the looks of it, they should not be enemies. Of course I know him. He's my sworn enemy. How could I not know him? The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled calmly. Etienne's heart sank. Was this not a sign that he was doomed? Since they were sworn enemies, wouldn't that mean they would fight to the bitter end? He immediately prepared the super teleportation Godstone for escape. It could pass through the prohibition and escape outside. Even the Purple Cloud Star Emperor would not be able to stop him. Sworn enemy? Etienne asked as he walked to the side. Once the attack came, he would immediately run away with the heavenly star ring. Don't be so nervous. I won't do anything to you. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled. He could see that Etienne was a little nervous. He and I are sworn enemies. We have always been rivals, and we will fight at the slightest disagreement. After all, he has always been better than me. Even the person I like has fallen in love with him. Don't you think we are sworn enemies? Love rivals. These two words popped up in Etienne's mind. The two of them had this kind of identity. This is a sworn enemy. Etienne smiled awkwardly. He did not know how to answer. Although we are sworn enemies, aren't we also the best of friends? The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was a little nostalgic for the past, but he quickly recovered from his memories and looked at him with a smile. As a successor, you were obviously chosen by him. I don't know why he chose you, but I think you must have had an outstanding side. If that's the case, the five-colored Emperor Dragon Lord. Etienne wanted to say something, but stopped. Dead. He died without us. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor sighed. Such a good opponent, but he died just like that. It was all because he was too stubborn. After everything was over, he also fell. Etienne's eyes narrowed. He remembered the legendary battle and asked, did he die in the battle against the Giant Beast clan? The Giant Beast clan? The Purple Cloud Star Emperor laughed coldly and shook his head. The Giant Beast clan is nothing. They're just a small fry. The real big fish is not in the Giant Beast clan. Not the Giant Beast clan. Etienne's eyes narrowed. But the legends outside are all like this, including the guardian who followed the five-colored Emperor Dragon. The Giant Beast clan is very strong, but compared to that behemoth, they are still a notch below. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor shook his head. Forget it. With your current level of cultivation, it is better not to know for now. The legends outside are indeed credible. He did fight with the Giant Beast clan, but the real cause of his death was not at the hands of the Giant Beast clan. You only need to understand this. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor revealed shocking news that stunned Etienne. Chapter 2248. Etienne could not wrap his head around it. Through various records and memories, he learned that the battle back then was quite tragic, with countless deaths and injuries. Of course, it was not confirmed that the five-colored Emperor Dragon had died at the hands of the Giant Beast clan. At most, it had been seriously injured. He did not expect that the real cause of its death was at the hands of other strong cultivators. If there are stronger existences, doesn't that mean this place is not safe? Etienne was a little worried that someone would come and kill him. His family was all here. You can say it's safe, but you can also say it's not safe. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled slightly, not too worried. Everything is under our control. When your level of cultivation reaches a certain level one day, you will know the real situation. If you know too much now, you will only feel too much pressure, and you won't be able to resist it. When that time comes, it will be detrimental to your cultivation. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was not joking. If the pressure was too great, and he kept thinking about breaking through crazily, it would be extremely troublesome if he fell into a vicious cycle. Sometimes it was not better to be under great pressure, but when the distance was too far, it was better not to know for the time being. Suddenly, the target would be very far away, and it would be very difficult to move forward. As the heir of the five-colored Emperor Dragon, I should at least know what level of cultivation I have to reach in order to know this information, right? Etienne looked at him with a burning gaze. He wanted to know what level of cultivation he had to reach in order to know about such things. He did not need to know the details. He only needed to reach a certain level of cultivation to be able to protect his own people. After looking at him for a moment, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor shook his head and smiled. You're too similar. No wonder you're the heir of the five-colored Emperor Dragon. Your temperament is exactly the same as his, eager to know that goal. There's no harm in telling you. In terms of cultivation, it's at least at the level of Heavenly Star Supremacy. That is, after you break through to Divine Star Supremacy, the next level you break through to is Heavenly Star Supremacy. A level stronger than Divine Star Supremacy. Etienne's eyes narrowed. As expected, it was extremely difficult. It was already extremely difficult to break through to Divine Star Supremacy, let alone Heavenly Star Supremacy. That's right. Once you've broken through to that level of cultivation, you don't even need to understand it. Someone will come and help you. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor looked at him with burning eyes and said, as the heir of the five-colored Emperor Dragon, we sensed at the moment you became a five-colored Emperor Dragon. It's just that we didn't interfere and let you do whatever you want. Even if you die on the way, it has nothing to do with us. Only when your cultivation reaches the Heavenly Star Supremacy level will we send someone to receive you and know the entire truth. This, Etienne was stunned. That's too casual. If I die, won't I have to start all over again? Yes. To tell you the truth, you weren't the only one to obtain the five-colored Monarch Dragon successor. The last one died on the way. This area is just the tip of the iceberg. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor shook his head. That's why we didn't interfere too much. If you really want to shoulder the heavy responsibility, you must go through training and climb to this position. Only then can you become our real help. If you die on the way, then I'm very sorry. We'll wait for the next heir of the five-colored Monarch Dragon. Etienne's pupil shrank. He He didn't expect such a thing to happen. Thinking about it carefully, it was more or less the same. A unique starry dharma was a unique existence, but once it died, this position would be vacated and continue to be taken by other cultivators. If it was constantly protected, it would be like a flower in a greenhouse without any combat power. Anyway, if it died, they would at most have to wait a little longer. Time was no longer a problem for them. This is how the world should be. Just because you can't doesn't mean others can't. We've been waiting for the one who can truly possess the five-colored monarch dragon starry dharma to appear, not a weakling. The purple cloud star emperor's words were very cruel. Obtaining this unique starry dharma did not mean that one was absolutely invincible, nor did it mean that one's talent was unique. It only meant that one was qualified to enter their circle. However, if one's level of practice was not up to par, then they would never know. After they died, the next heir would continue to climb up the ladder. What if I don't want to join you after my level of practice is up to par? Tianyun asked. Death. The purple cloud star emperor's expression was indifferent. There's no second choice. Isn't that forcing it? Tianyun's face darkened. Yes, it's forcing it. Of course, I think you will agree to it. Not because of anything else, but because the successor chosen by the five-colored Emperor Dragon will definitely have a similar personality as him, wanting to protect something and protect something. Otherwise, why would he choose you? The purple cloud star Emperor stared at him as if trying to see through him. What do you think? Is there something around you that you want to protect? There is. Tianyun had to admit it and nodded. It was likely that the five-color monarch dragon starry dharma would only choose him after he had passed the test. I knew it. This fellow would definitely choose an heir with a similar personality. There's no doubt about it. The purple cloud star emperor shrugged helplessly. In the past, we paid a little attention to some of the heirs. Their personalities are similar, all wanting to protect something. However, their level of practice is not high enough, and their strength is insufficient, so they die along the way. If you want to protect something, you need great power. Do you think you can do it? The purple cloud star emperor stared at him, wanting to pierce through him. I have to do it. Tianyun nodded heavily. Others might not be able to do it, but he had to. You're ambitious. The purple cloud star emperor laughed. I've said too much. You're the first to know so much, and you also know the target's level of practice. I've revealed too much. Forget it. Since you're here, I'll give you an opportunity. Whether you can get it or not will depend on your ability. To be honest, I really didn't expect that an heir of the five-colored monarch dragon would enter my purple gold divinity pavilion. This place is so remote, but it gave birth to an heir of the five-colored monarch dragon. It's really strange. The purple cloud star emperor shook his head. He could not understand this either. Opportunity? Tianyun's eyes lit up. I wonder what kind of opportunity it is. You'll find out later. I'll definitely help you. But whether you can get it or not will depend on your ability, the purple cloud star emperor said with a smile. What was the original purpose of this purple gold divinity pavilion? Tianyun was a little curious. It's very simple. It's to select the strongest cultivators and then train them to fight against the giant beast clan. I believe you've already seen this. As long as you're not a fool, you should know why you killed so many of the giant beast clan, right? The purple cloud star emperor said very straightforwardly. A long time ago, we wanted to train them to fight against the giant beast clan, but they're useless now. Chapter 2249. So, you're saying it's an outdated divine temple. Tianyun found it ridiculous. A group of people were desperately trying to squeeze inside, but in reality, it was just an abandoned divine temple. A group of star venerables were still scrambling for it, but it was just a divine temple that the purple cloud star emperor had abandoned. You could say that, but it can still nurture some strong fighters, the purple cloud star emperor said with a faint smile. No, I think it's still very useful. Now that the giant beasts have made a comeback, they're even evolving themselves to become more powerful. They're even taking the form of cultivators and blending in with other cultivators. Usually, it's impossible to detect them, Tianyun explained. There's such a thing? A look of surprise flashed in the purple cloud star emperor's eyes. Few things could surprise him, but this one really did. Yes, there are two people dealing with the guards now. They're the giant beasts. Yun said seriously. Senior, you can check to see if it's true. The purple cloud star emperor nodded and waved his hand in the air. Images of the 4 rooms appeared. Everyone was fighting with great difficulty. The guards they were fighting had the same level of cultivation as them. The guards were as strong as their cultivation. More importantly, the guards had all kinds of moves, and it was difficult to deal with them, especially since they were all holding star venerable level treasures. It was not easy to deal with them. It seemed that the difficulty of the last stage was really high. They had to deal with all the guards to get in. It's true. The purple cloud star emperor's eyes immediately locked on the 2 giant beasts. You can't tell on the surface, but you can tell from the aura when they explode. I didn't expect that I built the purple gold divine pavilion to deal with the giant beasts. Now the giant beasts have sneaked in. How ironic. The purple gold divine pavilion would definitely not let the giant beasts in. As long as the giant beasts got close, they would be killed. However, after the giant beasts had evolved and become cultivators, the purple gold divine pavilion did not recognize them. Then, the purple cloud star emperor waved his hand and grabbed the 2 giant beasts. Since he knew they were not cultivators, the purple cloud star emperor would not be polite to them. The 2 of you are quite bold. You dare to barge into my violet gold divine pavilion as members of the giant beast clan? The purple cloud star emperor grabbed the 2 of them and gently twisted his hand. The energy in their bodies was completely suppressed, and they could no longer resist. The 2 giant beasts knelt on the ground, their foreheads dripping with cold sweat. They did not expect such a situation to occur. Sir, I don't understand what you mean. One of them lied. Stop quibbling. Do you really think that I can't detect the aura that you are emitting? The purple cloud star emperor snorted coldly. Just a little bit of it, and I'll be able to sense it immediately. All right, all of you can go to hell. Just as the purple cloud star emperor was about to slap them, Yun hurriedly stepped forward and said, Senior, leave one of them to me. Oh, the purple cloud star emperor stopped and nodded. I don't know what you want to do, but I'll leave these 2 to you. You can do whatever you want with them. However, the result must be death. There was a murderous look in the purple cloud star emperor's eyes. The purple cloud star emperor was full of hatred for the giant beast clan. As long as he saw the giant beast clan, no matter who it was, he would kill them. Yun nodded. I know how to do that. Yun asked the purple cloud star emperor to spare their lives because he wanted to search their memories so that he could find out what their real plan was. Immediately, Yun came in front of them, and without saying a word, he reached out and grabbed their heads, beginning to search their souls. A moment later, Yun's eyes lit up, and at the same time, he crushed their souls, getting rid of them once and for all. It seems that the plan hasn't changed. They still don't know what the real purpose of this place is. Yun shook his head. He thought that there would be some useful information, but who knew that it would be the same as the giant beast they had dealt with before, and the information they knew was very limited. When he looked at the purple cloud star emperor, the purple cloud star emperor looked at the corpse in silence, and no one knew what he was thinking. You're saying that the giant beast clan has made a comeback? What's the situation now? The purple cloud star emperor was still a wisp of divine consciousness, so he had no way of knowing what was going on outside. Naturally, he did not know the current situation of the giant beast clan. Immediately, Yun told him the details of the giant beast clan situation, including how they wanted to capture the Death Clan and open the door of death to harvest all the powerhouses of the entire Crimson Moon Star. So there's such a thing. The purple cloud star emperor's expression became more and more serious. He did not expect to encounter such a situation. After such a long time, the giant beast clan had undergone such a huge change. This was something he did not expect. That's right, Senior. Now that they have infiltrated this place, they want to take control of the purple gold divine pavilion and slaughter all of us cultivators. Yun said with a serious expression. They want to take control of the purple gold divine pavilion? The purple cloud star emperor laughed. When I first set up this place, it was impossible for anyone to take control of it. Unless they have a very strong cultivation base, they can break it by force. Otherwise, they won't be able to take control of this place. If they want to take control of this place, even a divine star venerable won't be able to do so. They have to be at least a heavenly star supreme venerable. However, since they have come, let's treat them well. The purple cloud star emperor laughed coldly. A domineering aura surged from this wisp of divine consciousness. Although it was not as strong as his body, it was still shocking. Immediately, his gaze shifted to the side, as if he had begun to investigate the giant beast clan in the entire purple gold divine pavilion. After a while, he smiled and said, "Not bad. So many giant beast clan have invaded this place. Let me deal with them all at once." After saying that, he stretched out his hand and flicked his fingers. Immediately, dozens of cultivators appeared in the void. Etianyan took a closer look and found that they were all from the giant beast clan. There was no mistake. As expected of the purple cloud star emperor. In terms of investigation, he could still see through the giant beast clan's concealment. What's going on? When a group of giant beast clan was captured, they writhed and struggled frantically, but found that they could not struggle at all. They were all Grand Star venerables, but they did not even have the ability to resist here. I wonder if any of you know who I am? The purple cloud star emperor looked at them coldly. When this group of giant beast clan looked over and found that it was a divine star venerable powerhouse, their expressions changed. They hurriedly said, "Senior, we don't know what we did wrong. We all came in according to the rules. It seems that your ancestors didn't tell us about what happened in the past." The purple cloud star emperor laughed, but the friendliness disappeared and was replaced by a cold smile. "Back then, I don't even know how many trillions of giant beast clan I killed, but you didn't record my appearance. How ridiculous." Chapter 2250. Etianyan did not know about the purple cloud star emperor's situation, but from what he had said, the purple cloud star emperor must have been the vanguard and killed countless giant beasts. However, none of the giant beasts knew what the purple cloud star emperor looked like, which was strange. This was similar to the five-colored emperor dragon. The giant beasts hated the five-colored emperor dragon, and they clearly knew that the five-colored emperor dragon was their mortal enemy. The fact that so many guardian divine generals had been controlled was the best proof of this. The purple cloud star emperor was such a big target, but they did not know about him. This was very strange. Thinking back to the contents of the soul search, they could not find any memory of the purple cloud star emperor. It was as if everything had been erased. Who are you?" The leader of the giant beasts, who was a late-stage star venerable, stared at the purple cloud star emperor. They really did not know who he was. "That's true. I was too low-key and hid my identity so well that even your ancestors did not know my true identity, right?" The purple cloud star emperor smiled. "Of course, they might have thought that I was dead, and they were indeed seriously injured." His smile became colder and colder, causing the giant beasts to tremble. They already knew what their fate was. Since the purple cloud star emperor had said so, it meant that he had a great hatred for the giant beasts. How could he let them go? "If you want to kill us, then kill us. We will never beg for mercy." They knew that they could not escape, so they did not beg for mercy. "Don't worry. Even if you beg for mercy, I won't let you go." Just as the purple cloud star emperor was about to attack, Etianyan suddenly stood up and said, "Senior, leave them to me." Etianyan's eyes were full of surprise. There were so many giant beasts here, and if he killed them all, he could earn a lot of star energy. The purple cloud star emperor would not gain any star energy from killing them, so leaving them to him was undoubtedly the best thing to do. "Oh, it seems that you have quite a lot of resentment towards them." The purple cloud star emperor's attitude towards Etianyan was more relaxed. "Yes, quite a lot." Etianyan nodded repeatedly. In reality, there wasn't much of a grudge. It could only be considered an average grudge. He just wanted to earn more star energy, so he couldn't waste it. "All right, I'll leave them to you." With a wave of his hand, the purple cloud star emperor sealed their powers, rendering them unable to move. With his ability, it would be very easy for him to seal them. "Thank you, Senior." Etianyan walked towards him step by step. The thunder saber in his hand flickered with lightning. A cold smile hung on the corner of his mouth, sending chills down their spines. Even if we can't control the violet gold divine pavilion, you guys won't be able to escape. The colossal beast race roared. They wouldn't give up on struggling. Don't worry, we won't escape. We'll kill our way out. As soon as Tianyun's voice fell, the thunderlong blade in his hand slashed down rapidly. It was a frenzied slaughter, showing no mercy at all. Showing mercy to them was tantamount to seeking death. They wouldn't be moved by Tianyun's mercy. Soon, this group of colossal beasts had been completely slaughtered by him. He had obtained a large pile of star energy and many treasures, which made him feel very satisfied. He hadn't expected that his harvest this time would be so good. Even if he hadn't obtained any star-level treasures, it was worth it to earn so many star energy points. Thank you, Senior, Tianyun said gratefully. You're welcome. You've done justice for the heavens by killing them. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said in a low voice. Speaking of which, judging from what they've said, they must have set up many great formations outside. With the little bit of divine I left behind, I won't be able to control the situation outside. It'll be fine if they barge in, but if they don't, I won't be able to help you guys. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor's original intention in leaving behind the Violet Gold Divine Pavilion was to select strong fighters to deal with the colossal beast race. It wasn't a mobile fort. Therefore, there weren't any great offensive formations outside. At most, it could only be used as a defensive fortress, not an offensive one. It doesn't matter. Let us handle this ourselves. Tianyun's eyes shone as he said, "This is our land. Let us guard it." "All right," the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile, "but you don't have to worry too much. After the group of people goes through the trial, they'll have more experience in dealing with the colossal beast race. When they get to this stage, they'll have a lot of improvements. When the time comes, it'll be easier to fight. However, I'll give you some special privileges. There are many star-level treasures here, and you'll be in charge of distributing them. With these star-level treasures as our combat power, it'll be a little easier to deal with the colossal beast race." The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile, "Usually, you can't take away the treasures here until the end of the battle." The star-level treasures that the Purple Cloud Star Emperor mentioned were naturally the hundreds of star-level treasures that he had seen when he entered. If he didn't defeat the four guards, he would have to return the treasures later. Now that they were all in Tianyun's hands, it was equivalent to him suddenly owning hundreds of star-level treasures. He was really rich. If the other families knew about this, they would go crazy. They had worked so hard to get even one treasure, but now Tianyun could easily get all the star-level treasures. "Thank you, Senior." Tianyun was extremely excited. With so many treasures, the combat power of his forces would definitely be greatly improved. "You're welcome. I can't support you here. No one expected the colossal beast race to change like this. I'll leave it to you to eliminate them. Can you do it?" The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said sternly, staring at him. "Yes," Tianyun said in a low voice. "If we don't eliminate them, they'll harm this area. Our families and friends are all here, and we'll never allow them to do that." "Haha, it's the same," the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile. "Well, while they're still going through the trial, I'll give you a big opportunity first. Whether you can get it or not depends on your ability. Now, are you ready?" "I'm ready." Tianyun's eyes flashed. He had been ready for a long time. "Well, go." The Purple Cloud Star Emperor waved his hand and sent Tianyun away. Only Tianxing Huan was left in the main hall. Tianxing Huan was still immersed in her breakthrough, and the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had specially set up a shield for her to prevent her from being affected. He glanced at Tianxing Huan and didn't pay much attention to her. "The inheritor of the five-color Emperor Dragon. I hope this time she won't let us down again." The Purple Cloud Star Emperor sighed deeply. There's not much time left. Chapter 2251. In a trance, Tianyun felt like he was in a special environment. A spirit mountain appeared in front of him, with countless spirit herbs planted on it. He looked up and found the honorable breaker flower on it. This was an extremely rare divine herb, and it had actually appeared here. This made his heart skip a beat, and he quickly looked around, trying to find another kind of star god grass, which was also an extremely rare divine herb. After looking around, he sighed and said, "I can't find it. It seems like this thing doesn't even exist here. There was no star god grass in this spirit mountain, only the honorable breaker flower." Although it was a pity, at least he could find one of them. When the time came, he only needed to find the other one, and he would be able to break through to the 5th level of the star Dharma. When the time came, he would meet the basic requirements to break through to the divine star venerable rank. All he had to do was accumulate enough star energy points, and he would be able to break through to the divine star venerable rank in one go. A divine star venerable rank would definitely be able to look down on everyone on Crimson Moon Planet, and no forces would dare to resist. However, there was still a long way to go to break through to the divine star venerable rank. If he had not been talking to the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, he would not have thought so much. Now he was thinking about how to break through to the heavenly star venerable rank. That was the real threshold. I'll collect this divine herb first. No wonder the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said it would be effective for me. He really saw my needs in this area. It's a pity there's only one. If there were two, it would be even more perfect. With 2 divine herbs, he would be able to break through to the 5th level of the Star Dharma. When the time came, he would go on a killing spree outside, earn enough star energy points, and immediately break through to the divine star venerable rank. He shook his head, not feeling too depressed. He was already very lucky to be able to obtain one of the divine herbs so quickly. If it had been anyone else, they would not have had the opportunity to enter. According to the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, it was just to nurture some powerhouses to deal with the giant beast race. He would give him a star venerable level treasure, or at most, a few other decent treasures. If he wanted to take it out, he would probably have to swear an oath. Otherwise, it would be a great loss if he let it run away. This kind of oath was usually used to deal with the giant beast race. Tianyun did not need to swear an oath. He would do it anyway, so there was no need to swear an oath. Some cultivators had no choice but to forcefully use oaths to restrict themselves. Just as he was about to fly over to retrieve the broken formless flower, he suddenly realized that he couldn't fly at all. He was completely restricted below. Is this a flight ban? Tianyun narrowed his eyes and felt that things were not that simple. Previously, the Star Emperor of Yun had said that if he wanted to obtain this great opportunity, he would have to rely on his own abilities. This meant that there was definitely some difficulty involved. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such words and directly sent the treasure to Tianyun. He raised his head and looked at the spirit mountain. He could vaguely sense an unusual energy fluctuation emanating from it. He didn't think that it would be so easy for him to pluck the broken venerate flower. The broken honor flower was planted at the highest level of the spiritual mountain, which made it even more precious. Whatever, let's go in and take a look. Tianyun lifted his foot and walked inside. Just as he was halfway up the mountain, he was repelled by a wave of energy, causing him to take a few steps back. Soon after, a figure flew out from inside. It wasn't the Star Emperor of Ziyun, but an old man. The old man was full of dignity. He looked at Yi Futian and said sternly, "Cultivator, if you want to pluck the spiritual herbs here, you must pass the trial to be able to pluck the spiritual herbs in the corresponding area." After saying that, the old man waved his hand, and the entire spirit mountain was divided into 10 levels. In each level, there was an additional puppet. The auras of the puppets were all different. The higher the level, the stronger the aura of the puppets. They didn't seem simple at all. Tianyun's eyes narrowed. The puppets on the first level were all late-stage Star Venerate cultivators. The puppets on the second level were all late-stage Star Venerate cultivators, and so on. The puppets on the 10th level were not Divine Star Venerate cultivators, but late-stage Star Venerate cultivators. However, this late-stage Star Venerate cultivator seemed to be very unusual. Yi Futian would only know what was going on when he fought with it. Those who succeed in the challenge can pluck any spiritual herb they want. Each level can only pluck one spiritual herb. The old man explained the rules. Etianyan had a general idea of what was going on. This was also provided to the cultivators. However, they had to fulfill certain strict conditions before they could enter the Spirit Mountain to challenge and obtain the precious spiritual herbs. In this 10th level, apart from the venerate breaker flower, there were other precious spiritual herbs for cultivation. However, for Etianyan, the venerate breaker flower was more important. The rest of the spiritual herbs are not bad. Etianyan glanced at the spiritual herbs on the other levels and felt that they were all not bad. There were some that were suitable for others, so he wouldn't waste them. Let's try the other levels first. I wonder what moves these puppets have. He then chose the 7th level. The 7th level had decent spiritual herbs, so he could choose from it. I choose the 7th level, Etianyan said. Okay, the 7th level. The old man waved his hand, and Etianyan was transferred to the arena on the 7th level. The loser will lose all chances and be moved out of the Spirit Mountain. The winner can continue the trial until he fails. Etianyan was stunned. So that was what was going on. They were giving him 10 chances. However, to make use of all 10 chances, he had to defeat all of them. If he failed even once, he would have to leave this place. Oh, I thought you would choose the 10th level. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor's voice suddenly came from the side. Senior, I want to try it out first. Etianyan was not surprised by the Purple Cloud Star Emperor's appearance. This place was definitely within the Purple Cloud Star Emperor's observation range. The puppets on the 7th level were not weak either. They were all late-stage star venerates. Starting from the 7th level, they were all late-stage star venerates. Although their cultivation was similar, it didn't mean that their strength was the same. It's good to try it out first. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled. Originally, it was impossible for there to be a Broken Master Flower on the 10th level. I specially placed a Broken Master Flower on the 10th level. If you want to become a Divine Star Venerate, the level of your Star Dharma idol has to reach the standard. This is the opportunity I'm giving you. Senior, why don't you put the Star Divine Herb on the 10th level as well? Etianyan smiled. It would be a happy thing to be able to put both on the 10th level. There's no Star Divine Herb in the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion. I can't do anything about it. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was a little helpless. If you're training in the other Violet Gold Divinity Pavilions, there would be some, but there's none here. This place is a little more remote, and the resources are more limited. Chapter 2252. There is naturally more than one Purple Gold Divine Pavilion. In order to deal with the Giant Beast clan, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had placed Purple Gold Divine Pavilions in many areas, so that more strong fighters could pass the trial and then deal with the Giant Beast clan. This was the simplest method. Not only could they gather some strong fighters, but they could also save a lot of time. This kind of targeted trial would undoubtedly increase the effect to the maximum, but for now was not very practical. The Giant Beast clan was gradually evolving, and when they were all cultivators, this kind of fighting method would not be suitable. This place was originally meant to teach them how to deal with the Giant Beast clan, to find the Giant Beast clan's weakness, and then hit it hard. Now that they had all become cultivators, it was impossible to find any weaknesses. Not only were their bodies strong, but they also knew their martial arts techniques. This was the most troublesome part. Therefore, out of all the Purple Gold Divine Pavilions, this one was the more miserable one, and the resources were more limited. Etianyan could not help but imagine what level the Purple Gold Divine Pavilions with amazing resources would be like. It must be known that this Purple Gold Divine Pavilion had already made everyone crazy. There were so many star venerable level treasures, as well as countless other spiritual herbs. This was already quite rich. But the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said that the treasures here were relatively few, which made him sigh. The other Purple Gold Divine Pavilions probably had better treatment. I see. Etianyan smiled bitterly. Otherwise, he would not have needed to look for the Star God Herb, and he could have directly broken through here. Yes, but the Broken Zune Flower is also not bad. You could spend a little effort to find the remaining one. It shouldn't be too difficult. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said it wouldn't be too difficult for Etianyan. The Xian Star Emperor was a legendary figure. To him, there was nothing difficult about it. Very well, I'm already satisfied that I got the broken Zune flower. Etianyan did not ask for much. Anyway, it was good enough to get one. Then he turned his gaze to the puppet in front of him and said to the elder, "You may begin." They could have started long ago. If the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had not come out, they would have started fighting. Then let the competition begin. At the elder's command, the puppet moved quickly. In the next second, the puppet's power burst forth. It turned into an afterimage, and like a bolt of black lightning, it pierced through the air. This puppet was in the form of an ordinary cultivator. There was nothing special about it. However, it was precisely this form that was the most difficult to deal with. After he used his full power, he vaguely sensed that the energy fluctuations were stronger than most late-stage Grand Star Venerables. It did not have any star materialization, nor did it use any star power, but its power was far greater than that of a late-stage Star Venerable. In the end, it was because the materials used to make it were excellent. They were purely made of the materials used to make star-level treasures. In terms of treasures, it was at least a middle-grade Star Venerable treasure. It was more powerful than most medium-grade Star Venerable grade treasures. After all, it was built purely with the materials used to build Star Venerable level treasures, and it was mixed with some other special materials to make it more powerful. Under its feet, there were also densely packed star runes that continuously strengthened the puppet's power. Good timing. Etianyan was not careless at all. A thunderlong saber appeared in his hand quickly. He could not relax when dealing with such a puppet, so he exerted his strongest move right away. Open. The thunder power absorbed in his body gushed out and poured into the thunderlong saber. The thunderlong saber lit up immediately. A domineering thunder dragon pattern appeared on the thunderlong saber. Dense electric arcs were released from the thunderlong saber, and the surrounding air was filled with a burning smell. If he had not absorbed the thunder power, he would not have been able to exert the thunderlong saber's power. Even then, he could not exert his full power. Only with the thunder power in his body could he exert its full power. It would be great if he could exert more than half of the thunderlong saber's power. Although he had only exerted half of the thunderlong saber's power, it was not weak at all. The puppet did not feel any danger facing such a powerful attack. It did not even try to dodge. It only fought against Etianyan head-on. It did not feel any fear, nor did it feel any pain. As a result, it was quite terrifying when they fought against each other. They did not know how to dodge at all. They just wanted to see who was tougher. Boom! The two of them collided head-on. The two figures were sent flying back quickly. The distance they flew back was almost the same. It could be seen how powerful the puppet was. It's really tough. Etianyan felt numb between his thumb and index finger. It was a Star Venerable level treasure indeed. It was dreadful for it to charge at him head-on, especially this treasure, which had a cultivation level. It would not be easy to deal with it. Buzz! There were only faint marks on the puppet's body. It did not feel any pain at all. It continued to charge at Etianyan without any pause. This was the ferocity of a puppet. As long as it wasn't completely destroyed, it would continue to attack until either its opponent died or it died. It's so powerful at this level. Won't the one on the 10th level be even more powerful? Etianyan squinted. He did not want to waste any more time. A unique Star Divine figure appeared behind him. The power of the seven-colored king dragon gushed out. The star power above his head shrouded the puppet. His star power reached the level of 55 instantly. Chaotic thunder strike. Etianyan brandished the thunder long blade in his hand and slashed down on the puppet that was rushing towards him. The domineering thunder light was like a giant blade that could split the sky and earth, shrouding the puppet that was rushing towards him. The puppet did not even try to dodge. It just stood there like a fool. That made Etianyan feel more relaxed. He did not have to spend so much energy on it. Boom! It was as if divine lightning had struck the ground, causing a deafening boom to ring out. In the end, a huge crater appeared on the ground. At the same time, the puppet seemed to have been assimilated lying limply on the ground, not moving in the slightest. Its limbs had long since fallen apart, leaving behind only its torso. Its torso had been cut in half by Tianyun's knife strike. Even a star venerable level treasure would be split open by this domineering power. Moreover, he had a star venerable level treasure, and he could still kill his opponent if they clashed. Congratulations on passing the 7th level. You can pick any spiritual herb on the 7th level at will, the old man said calmly, without any emotion. Tianyun nodded. He did not feel anything special about it. If he could not deal with these small puppets, he would not be able to pass the 10th level. Chapter 2253. Tianyun chose a rising dragon flower on the 7th floor, which would be of great help to him when he broke through to the Grand Star Venerable Realm. He planned to give this spirit herb to Shuiyun as the best supplementary herb when she broke through to the Grand Star Venerable Realm in the future. Do you want to continue? The old man spoke to Tianyun in his emotionless voice. Continue to the 10th floor. Tianyun did not challenge the 9th floor or the 8th floor. He went straight to the 10th floor. He had a general sense of the difficulty, but it was not a problem for him. If he could not even deal with this, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor would be disappointed, and he would not be qualified to participate. The eyes of the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, who was watching from the side, flickered with anticipation. The difficulty of the 10th floor was almost equivalent to facing a half-step divine star venerable, so one could imagine how difficult it was. However, no matter how difficult it was, the fact that the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had set it up here meant that someone could win this round. It was not a divine star venerable, but a grand star venerable who could win this round. If a divine star venerable won this round, it would be meaningless. The Lord Breaker Flower was only effective against Grand Star Venerables and had no effect on Divine Star Venerables at all. However, in terms of effect, it was still slightly effective. It was just a slight increase in cultivation. With the old man's teleportation, Tianyun was quickly transferred to the 10th floor's competition platform. The puppet appeared in front of him at the same time. The puppet had not changed much. It was still in the state of a cultivator and looked like a young man. Upon closer inspection, it seemed to bear some resemblance to the Purple Cloud Star Emperor. This was probably made in the likeness of the Purple Cloud Star Emperor. There were dense star patterns all over his body, and through these star patterns, the formation beneath his feet could continuously channel astral power into it, filling it to the brim with power. Without power to sustain it, this puppet had no combat power at all. Even if Tianyun ran out of this array, the puppet would not dare to rush out. Once it did, it would either be unable to move or its power would be greatly reduced. This was the fatal weakness of the puppet. Everything depended on the array to increase its power. However, it wasn't a problem for him to be used as a trial target here. Correspondingly, if Tianyun was an advanced Astral Room Master, he would be able to obtain victory easily as long as he broke the array beneath his feet. In reality, it was extremely difficult. The grade of the great formation beneath his feet was too high. With his current level, it was impossible for him to break it. If he could break it, he definitely wouldn't be polite. Looking at the way to solve it, this method was the most convenient. An astral tattoo master. It looks like I'll have to focus on improving my cultivation once I have more star energy. Tianyun sighed. The more complex a palace was, the more difficult it would be to deal with the star patterns. If one's rank was relatively high, it would be very easy to deal with the star patterns. It could be said that compared to the other two professions, Astral Room Master had a higher utilization rate. Buzz! With a wave of the puppet's hand, a high-grade star venerable treasure suddenly appeared. A powerful fluctuation came from the weapon. It was not an attack, but the space around it distorted slightly, as if it was about to be torn apart. The puppet's hollow eyes were fixed on Tianyun. It was ready to rush over and fight him to the death at any moment. Its terrifying fighting spirit burst forth. It was obviously a puppet, but it had the same fighting spirit as a cultivator. The most terrifying thing was that it could actually cast the Star Dharma power. Moreover, it was a grade 6 Star Dharma power. A giant black tortoise appeared behind it. A majestic aura gushed out, forming a thick layer of armor that covered the puppet's body. Nine-shelled black tortoise. Etienne's eyes narrowed. He hadn't expected that puppets could also use the Star Dharma power. He had only heard that clones could use the Star Dharma power, but he hadn't expected that puppets could also use it. Wasn't this heaven-defying? It had to be said that the difficulty of the 10th level was quite high. I created this through special means. It was quite difficult to create. I only made a dozen of them, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said. He was very satisfied with his puppet. It's a pity that it's still lacking something. Otherwise, I could have made a puppet with a higher cultivation and a more perfect fusion. Senior, isn't this a little too difficult? Although Etienne wasn't afraid of this puppet, after the puppet's attack, he felt that it was no longer an ordinary late-stage Star Venerable. It was almost on par with a divine Star Venerable. The puppet itself was already heaven-defying, and it was a top-grade Star Venerable treasure. It was holding a top-grade Star Venerable treasure in its hand, and it even had a grade 6 Star Dharma power. There was a formation under its feet. How could he possibly win? Ahem, this is a little difficult. So the rule of the 10th level is naturally not to defeat the puppet, but to last as long as you can, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile. So don't be nervous. It's a little difficult, but it's still acceptable. If it were any other cultivator, they would only need to last for 15 minutes to pass. As for you, you have to last for at least 15 minutes. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor suddenly raised the standard by 3 times. It was simply terrible. This, Etienne looked at the puppet. It's been holding on for 3 incense sticks of time. It doesn't sound like a long time, but the real situation is definitely terrifying. Otherwise, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor wouldn't have set the rule at 15 minutes. Of course, this 1 incense stick of time was for other cultivators. For him, it was 3 incense sticks of time. No problem, 15 minutes it is. Etienne smiled. He had only felt that it was a little difficult, not that he couldn't defeat it. He knew why his standard had been raised. It was because he was the successor of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon. Otherwise, the standard would not have been raised by 3 times. All right, let the competition officially begin. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor gave the order on behalf of the old man. Originally, he didn't need to come personally, but he saw that Etienne had come to the trial, so he came over to take a look. As soon as he gave the order, the puppet seemed to have a soul. Its eyes emitted a cold light, and it directly charged towards Etienne. With the momentum of a thunderbolt, it attacked Etienne crazily. It could be said that from the beginning, its power had been raised to the highest level. If one was not careful, they would be killed instantly. Boom! Etienne was also prepared. The power of the 7-colored Emperor Dragon surged wildly, and the astral power above flowed out. All the Dharma powers of the stars were added to his body, and they collided head-on with the puppet, triggering a violent explosion. The entire arena shook from the explosion. Even the entire Spirit Mountain felt a little shaken, as if it was about to collapse at any time. Amazing! After colliding head-on with the puppet, Etienne quickly bounced back. He felt that the palm that was holding the Thunder Saber was a little cracked. This guy was really too hard. Chapter 2254. The terrifying puppet kept attacking Etienne without any pause. Even if Etienne hit the puppet, it's just a slight shake, leaving only a faint mark on the puppet's hard body. This was a superior Star Venerable treasure, so it was terrifyingly hard. The most terrifying thing was that it had the support of the 9-shelled black tortoise, which increased its defense to a whole new level. No wonder it was said that one only needed to hold on. How could one defeat such a terrifying defense without the power of a divine Star Venerable? Moreover, its combat power was endless. No matter what kind of ultimate move it used, it would never be exhausted. When ordinary cultivators used some unique skills, they would run out of energy for a certain period of time. They would only be able to use it again after a little rest. But this puppet did not have such a thing. It went all out, attacking crazily all the way. Not to mention the time it took for 1 stick of incense to burn, Many star venerables in the late stage would not be able to hold on for even half an incense stick of incense. Given the puppet's situation, it would be able to attack hundreds of times in half an incense stick of incense. Who could withstand the attack of such a violent puppet for more than half an incense stick of incense? Especially when the puppet was holding a superior star venerable treasure. How could one fight it? The treasure in Tianyun's hand was only a medium star venerable treasure. After withstanding several moves in a row, the Thunderlong knife had many cuts on it, but the big knife in the puppet's hand was not damaged at all. This was the difference in grade. With such a huge gap between the two, ordinary cultivators could just surrender. How could they continue fighting? Not to mention the other cultivators. Even Tianyun felt that it was a bit difficult to resist. The puppet's attacks swept over like a storm. It did not seem to be tired at all. Seeing this, the purple cloud star emperor squinted. He did not know how much Tianyun could resist in the end. Could he really hold on for 1.5 an incense stick of time? It looks like he won't be able to hold on for 1.5 an incense stick of time. The purple cloud star emperor sighed when he saw Tianyun retreating. If this went on, Tianyun would not be able to hold on. Under such circumstances, he would not be able to hold on for too long. If he did not put up any resistance, he would not be able to hold on for too long. Unless Tianyun could dodge it, the puppet would not give him the chance to do so. She pressed closely against Tianyun, not letting him leave her side. This feeling was like gangrene attached to the bone, sticking to his body and not letting him leave. Just when the purple cloud star emperor could no longer bear to watch, a loud roar came from below. Get lost! Accompanied by the roar of a dragon, a terrifying beam of light rushed out and forced the puppet to retreat a large distance. The purple cloud star emperor's eyes lit up. He did not expect Tianyun to be able to fight back. It's not bad, but it's not enough, Tianyun said coldly. Don't think that you're invincible just because you're a little harder. No matter how hard it is, it can still blow you up. In the next moment, Tianyun circulated the power in his body. The power of the seven-colored imperial dragon behind him quickly merged into his body and became one. Such a perfect compatibility allowed him to possess the strongest power of the seven-colored imperial dragon in his human form. In addition, the rest of the astral dharma power was also maximized. The power of the 4 astral dharma powers was quickly released, all of which could increase the level of astral power. In an instant, the astral power above his head was raised to the level of 63 cubic meters, which was enough to shock many people. At least the purple cloud star emperor was shocked. The original 55 cubic meters of astral power was already scary enough, but now it had increased to 63 cubic meters, which was a little scary. When he was a late-stage grand astral venerable, he only had about 40 cubic meters of astral power at most, but Tianyun had 63 cubic meters of astral power. It was a pity that there was no one here who could force him to use the swallowing galaxy. Otherwise, he would not only have 63 cubic meters of astral power, but would have been able to reach more than 70. When that happened, the purple cloud star emperor would be even more shocked. Who could achieve such a high level of astral power at this level of cultivation? Burning wrath of heavens. Tianyun swung the thunder saber and slammed it forward. The full power of the burning wrath of heavens suit burst forth, and flames swept across the surroundings, causing the temperature to rise rapidly, burning the entire place red, as if it had turned into a red-hot iron wok. Boom! Under his ferocious attack, the puppet was knocked back dozens of meters, and it was at this moment that Tianyun counterattacked. Your power is not bad, but if you think this will end it, you're too naive. The purple cloud star emperor was very satisfied with Tianyun's performance, but it was impossible for him to continue suppressing the puppet with this level of power. The puppet was not that simple. The puppet was not afraid of death, and it had an inexhaustible supply of astral power and a tough body. How could it let Tianyun succeed? Sure enough, in the next moment, the puppet's eyes burst with a shocking divine light, and a layer of astral power quickly shrouded above it. and in the blink of an eye, 43 cubic meters of astral power appeared. Previously, the puppet did not use astral power, and the Purple Cloud Star Emperor thought that it could not be used. Who knew that the puppet could still use astral power? After using astral power, the power exploded all at once, and the already terrifying puppet's aura rapidly increased by dozens of times. Its combat power increased greatly, and it felt like it was infinitely close to the cultivation of a divine star venerable. Etienne's eyes turned cold, and he directly used the swallowing galaxy, swallowing up 1/3 of the astral power in one gulp. At the same time, his own 63 cubic meters of astral power suddenly rushed to 68 cubic meters, which was even more heaven-defying. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor's eyes were stunned. He did not expect Etienne to have such an ability. The five-colored Emperor Dragon has such an ability? He had never seen the five-colored Emperor Dragon use this ability, but it was a brand new special ability. After increasing the astral power to 68 cubic meters, Etienne became even more heaven-defying and powerful. Originally, it would have been fine if the puppet did not use astral power, but now that it did, it seemed even more heaven-defying. 7 shining stars of wrath. Etienne waved the thunder saber, and all the power of thunder in his body rushed out and gathered on the thunder saber. Originally, he could only use 7 attributes, but now there was an additional attribute, and it became 8 attributes. In an instant, the surrounding space seemed to have stagnated, and the domineering power caused the space to stagnate. As his saber fell, the puppet that was originally rushing over was so scared that it dodged. This was not controlled by the Purple Cloud Star Emperor, but the puppet really dodged. The puppet that was not afraid of death and being beaten before actually dodged. Go to hell. Etienne roared and slashed down heavily. The puppet couldn't dodge in time and was hit by Etienne's heavy blade. Clang! The sound of metal clashing resounded throughout the spirit mountain. Who would win and who would lose? Boom! The 8-colored saber aura slashed forward, and the battle stage was split into 2. When the light gradually disappeared, what appeared in front of them was the puppet, almost split in half. Chapter 2255. The hard puppet was almost split in half by Etienne's strike. Although it was not completely split, the puppet had already lost its combat power. Only a small part of it was left uncut. Most of it had already been split in half. In such a situation, the puppet fell backward, paralyzed on the ground, unable to move. It's too hard. I only managed to split it in half, even with all my strength. Etienne withdrew the thunder long saber in his hand. There was a dent on the thunder long saber, which looked quite miserable. This was the result of going head-on against the puppet. The thunder long saber almost broke. Fortunately, he had the strength to support it. Otherwise, it would have been split in half. In general, Etienne was quite satisfied with his ability. When he used all his strength, even a top-grade star venerable puppet would have to retreat. The effect was very obvious just now. The puppet was frightened by his strength and dodged to the side. If it had not dodged, the puppet would have been split in half. This was based on the premise that Etienne had not used his crazy mode. If he had used all his strength, it would have been easier to deal with the puppet. However, he still wanted to test the limits of his strength. Sure enough, he could still kill the opponent without using his crazy mode. Just when he thought he was relieved, a beam of light suddenly appeared on the ground and quickly shrouded the puppet. In the blink of an eye, the injuries on the puppet healed quickly. In a short while, the puppet was completely healed and became a complete puppet. There were no scars on it at all. The severely damaged puppet was actually healed in the blink of an eye. Again, Etienne's face fell. He had already split it in half, and now it had recovered. Do I have to hold on for 1.5 hours? It had only been a little more than 1.5 hours. There was still a long way to go. According to this rule, it would be useless to defeat it. After the puppet stood up, it did not continue to fight. It stood there motionless like a statue. Congratulations on passing the 10th level, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile. I passed. Tanyan looked at the puppet and said doubtfully, I thought I had to hold on for the time it takes for 3 incense sticks to burn. Otherwise, I would have to continue fighting. You've already defeated it, so there's no need for you to persist for the time it takes for 3 incense sticks to burn. The rules aren't that strict. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was quite satisfied with Tianyan. He praised, Your strength is not bad. You are one of the best among the Grand Star Venerables. Among all the geniuses I've seen, you belong to the upper echelon. On the upper level, Tianyun's eyes narrowed. Studying the words carefully, he realized that something was amiss. His explosive power could only be considered to be in the upper echelon of geniuses that the Ziyun Star Emperor had seen. He was still a distance away from the top geniuses. Yes, your performance just now was very good, but you're still lacking compared to some super geniuses. Whether it is in terms of bloodline, physique, or martial arts, they are far superior to you. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor said with a smile, Of course, you don't have to be discouraged. Your starting point is much lower than theirs. They have been nurtured by many powerful fighters since they were born, so the situation is naturally different. Tianya nodded. He could understand this. The difference in environment allowed one's starting point to be much higher. For example, if he wanted to break through to the Star Venerable rank or the Grand Star Venerable rank, he would need to look for divine medicine. As for these geniuses, their elders had already prepared all the divine medicine and placed it in front of them. They even helped to protect them. Such a smooth journey, with all kinds of divine medicine. How could they not be strong? However, Tianyun believed that he was stronger than them. He had worked his way up bit by bit, unlike those young masters who had not gone through too many trials and tribulations. I know, but there's no way they can beat me. Tianyun smiled confidently. It seems that you have a steady mind, but it's true. They are superior to you in all aspects, but there is one aspect that they are inferior to, and that is their mentality and experience. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor sighed. It's because their path is too smooth that they can easily fail or be thwarted. This is why we let the heirs of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon continue to develop. Only after going through layers of training can they become the true heirs of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon. This was why the Purple Cloud Star Emperor and the others did not interfere with the heirs of the 5-colored Emperor Dragon. They had seen too many geniuses who grew up with silver spoons in their mouths, and they were numb to it. So that's how it is. Tianyan finally understood what they meant. Cultivation was important, but mental training was even more important. All right, go and get your reward, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor said. Tianyan's gaze shifted to the broken Zune flower at the side. He could finally get his hands on this broken Zune flower. He then walked over, plucked the broken Zune flower, and placed it in his inventory. He could finally get his hands on one of the broken Zune flowers. All that was left was the Star God grass. Thank you, Elder, Tianyun said gratefully. There's no need to thank me. This is what you deserve. If you didn't pass the 10th level of the trial, you wouldn't have gotten your hands on this broken Zune flower. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled. All right, I can't help you with the rest. I've given you what I should. No, Elder, you still have something to give me. Tianyun smiled, but there was a hint of devilish charm in his smile. There's still something I haven't given you? The Purple Cloud Star Emperor was taken aback, but he quickly understood. He smiled and pointed at him. How greedy. You've taken a fancy to my Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion, haven't you? The Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion was even more precious. It could be said that obtaining the Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion was equivalent to obtaining control of this place. The key was that whoever entered would be killed by him. Hee, I wonder if Elder is willing to give it to me? Tianyun asked with a smile. There's nothing to be unwilling about. Anyway, this Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion has long been meaningless. If you want it, then take it. Anyway, I've basically delegated control to you. You've taken all the precious items, and the rest is just an empty shell. The Purple Cloud Star Emperor smiled and waved his hand. He was rather generous. Thank you, Elder. Tianyun was overjoyed. He thought that he would be rejected, but he didn't expect that he would agree so quickly. With the Purple Gold Divinity Pavilion, it was equivalent to having an incomparably huge fortress. When necessary, he could even hide in it. Under this incomparably sturdy fortress, even a divine star venerable would not be able to break in. Chapter 2256. When the Violet Cloud Star Emperor saw Yi Tianyun's excited expression, he smiled and shook his head. When you reach a higher level of cultivation, you will know that this is nothing. I know that, but for now, it means a lot to me. Yi Tianyun knew that when one reached a higher level of cultivation, one's surroundings would change. It was like the first time he came up from the lower world and found that the most powerful treasure in the lower world was useless here. Or rather, it was not even comparable to the weakest treasure here. When one's level increased, the things one encountered would naturally be different. Well, since you have said so, I will transfer the control of the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion to you. The Violet Cloud Star Emperor reached out and flicked his finger. A ray of light fell on Yi Tianyun, indicating that he had completely gained control of the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion. Yi Tianyun also felt that he had become one with the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion, and he could feel every corner of the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion. Thank you, Senior. Yi Tianyun expressed his gratitude once again. Don't mention it. It's just a small token of my appreciation. I'm giving you a little extra help. The Violet Cloud Star Emperor stroked his chin. If those old fellows find out that I am giving you such preferential treatment, I wonder if they will gossip. Yi Tianyun was stunned. He knew that the old fellows the Violet Cloud Star Emperor was talking about must be at the same level as he was. If it makes things difficult for you, Senior, then I don't want it anymore, Yi Tianyun said after thinking for a while. That's an exaggeration. The main thing is that those old fellows said not to give you any help. To be honest, I'm not breaking the rules, am I? You came here to train and passed the test perfectly. Obtaining the Violet Gold Divinity Pavilion is equivalent to proving your own strength. The Star Emperor of Purple Cloud thought for a while and said with a smile, Forget it, don't think too much about it. I will leave this place to you. I won't be staying here any longer. I hope that the next time we meet, you will have broken through to the Heavenly Star Supremacy level. I also want you to become the true inheritor of the five-colored Emperor Dragon. I think you're very good, ha ha ha. After the Violet Cloud Star Emperor laughed, he gradually disappeared. This trace of divine was about to disappear completely. Since the control had been handed over to Yi Tianyun, there was no need for him to stay here any longer. Thank you, Senior. Yi Tianyun slowly knelt down. He was very grateful to the Ziyun Star Emperor. Kid, work hard. The Star Emperor of Ziyun did not say anything more and completely disappeared from this space. He did not say anything more and let nature take its course. After the Ziyun Star Emperor completely disappeared, a voice rang in Yi Tianyun's ears. Ding! Special quest, obtain the Purple Gold Divine Pavilion completed. Reward, 5 billion star energy, 10,000 good deeds, and 3 system evolution points. Upon hearing this news, Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. This was an unexpected surprise. The most important thing was not the star energy, but the 3 evolution points. With these 3 evolution points, he could easily level up Crazy Mode. Level up Crazy Mode. Yi Tianyun did not hesitate. With the evolution points, he would level up immediately. He had been looking forward to leveling up the system for a long time. Ding! 5 evolution points have been deducted. Successfully leveled up Crazy Mode. The next level requires 8 evolution points. Ding! Crazy Mode has completely evolved. The effect has been increased to 50 times. Nice! Yi Tianyun was very satisfied. He had finally leveled up Crazy Mode to 50 times, and it had been doubled again. The next level would be to increase it to 100 times. However, it required 8 evolution points, which was quite difficult. Only God knew what kind of mission he could complete. Currently, the main mission had not appeared. It was not that he did not want to take the evolution points, but that he could not find them. Now that he had suddenly completed a special mission, he could obtain evolution points. Otherwise, he would not have been able to obtain them. It's about time to go back. Yi Tianyun raised his head and looked at the Spirit Mountain. This spirit mountain had immediately become his. As long as he was willing, he could easily move everything here and obtain a lot of spirit herbs. Of course, the effects of these spirit herbs were negligible to him. He only wanted the star god grass, so these things were of limited help to him. Following that, his figure flickered and he easily teleported to the palace. At that moment, Tianxing Huan had already woken up. She had successfully broken through to the mid-stage star venerable realm, which was quite a big improvement. Young Master Yi, you are finally back. Where did you go? I woke up and found that you were gone. Tianxing Huan heaved a sigh of relief when she saw Yi Tianyun return. She had been fiddling with this place for a long time, but she had not found any exit or entrance. I went to pass some trials and am finally back. Yi Tianyun smiled. He did not tell them that he had become the master of this place. It was not that he wanted to hide it, but he wanted to give them a surprise. Trials? What trials? Tianxing Huan was a little confused. She had been wandering around here for a long time, but she did not see any trial passages. When Yi Tianyun was about to explain, the gate opened slowly. Then a familiar figure appeared in front of them. Zhu Xing. Zhu Xing was one step faster than Jing Xian and was the second to arrive. However, before he could take a few steps, Jing Xian also walked in from outside. The two of them were about the same speed. Originally, it would have taken them a long time. After all, two members of the giant beast race had sneaked in. As long as someone was challenging the guards, they would not be able to challenge them. Just now, the Purple Cloud Star Emperor had caught those two fellows. Naturally, there were empty spots for them to challenge. Thanks to their extraordinary strength, they passed the trials of the guards and obtained their own keys. Then they came in. The power of those guards was at the late stage of the Grand Star Venerable Realm. They were much weaker than the puppets. It was not an easy trial. However, when Zhu Xing came in excitedly and saw that both Yi Tianyun and Tianxing Huan were there, his face fell. He thought he was the first to come in. Who knew that Yi Tianyun and Tianxing Huan would come in before him? How is this possible? Why are the two of you here? Zhu Xing was extremely shocked. Not to mention Yi Tianyun. Why was Tianxing Huan earlier than him? Each key could only allow one person to pass. This meant that both of them needed to obtain a key to enter. In reality, this was not the case. All of Yi Tianyun's purple gold keys could allow multiple people to enter. This was practically cheating. Why can't we stay here? Yi Tianyun said calmly. Are you the only one who can pass the trials of the guards? Chapter 2257. Zhu Xing's face turned gloomy. He was very unhappy with Yi Tianyun's attitude. He would have fought with Yi Tianyun a long time ago if it were not for the fact that they could not fight each other here. Young Master Tianyun, I did not expect you to come in so quickly. Jing Xian was very confused. Even though she was smart and could deduce many things, there were still many things that she could not figure out. For example, she did not know that Yi Tianyun had the key. She would not have been able to figure it out. Yes, we are a little faster. Yi Tianyun smiled. He did not tell the truth. There was no need to tell the truth to her. Jing Xian nodded. It was not just fast. It was much faster than them, especially when they were given priority to train, and they were even faster than them. It was very strange. However, she did not ask further. It was fast. Was there any other way to get in? Zhu Xing didn't say a word and looked around. Apart from the thick purple gas that could bring them a strong effect, there was nothing else. Younger sister Jing Xian, if we absorb the purple gas here and cultivate, our cultivation will improve a little. Zhu Xing did not bother with Yi Tianyun. Instead, he turned his attention to Jing Xian. He did not want to give up. Tianxing suddenly burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Zhu Xing's face turned gloomy. He felt like Tianxing was laughing at him. I'm laughing at how happy you are. When we first came in, the purple chi here was dozens of times denser than it is now. Tianxing Huan's beautiful eyes were filled with mischief as she teased. It's a pity that we've absorbed it all. That feeling is pretty good. Dozens of times denser. Zhu Xing narrowed his eyes. He snorted and said, That's nothing. I don't care. He was stubborn. When he saw Tianxing break through to the middle stage of Grand Star Venerable, he knew how powerful the effect was. If they were in his family, they would have to spend a lot of resources to raise their cultivation. Not only would they need resources, but they would also need a lot of time. Now, they had broken through easily in a short time. He was very envious of them. He did not admit it, but he was envious of them. When he took a closer look, he found that Yi Tianyin had broken through to the late stage of Grand Star Venerable, which made him even more furious. All the benefits were taken by Yi Tianyin, and he could only barely get the soup. Oh, as expected of young Master Zhu of a large family. You don't even care about this, but I do care about it very much. Tianxing Huan covered her mouth and chuckled. She could see that Zhu Xing was just being stubborn. Even the Zhu family and the Chu family could not produce such an effect. Are you saying that the purple qi here was very dense before? Jing Xian walked over and asked doubtfully. Yes, the purple qi was quite rich, but we absorbed it all. It must have been accumulating for a long time, but we've already absorbed all of it, Heavenly Star Ring answered honestly. So it's like that. Jing Xian looked around. After sizing up the place for a while, she slowly said, the effect is quite good. It's continuously released for the trial taker to absorb as a reward for passing the guard. But isn't this reward a little too shabby? Jing Xian frowned. She did not think this should be the case. They had passed so many trials, but they could only practice here. Wasn't a little too shabby? It's not shabby. First of all, you'll get a Star Venerable level treasure. If you don't pass the trial, you won't be able to get anything. Then, you'll get some reward for passing the 4 guards. Although they aren't Star Venerable level treasures, you'll at least get some special rewards, right? Yi Tianyin retorted calmly next to her. The violet gold divine pavilion could be considered to be his territory. Wouldn't Jing Xian's words be equivalent to talking about him? So, he would have to retort. They had defeated the 4 guards, but they hadn't gotten any treasures. Instead, they had gotten a wisp of pure astral power. After absorbing it into their bodies, they could strengthen their bodies slightly. It was a pretty good benefit. This kind of benefit was useless to him. His physique was strong enough. Looks like young Master Tianyin knows a lot. Jing Xian walked up to Yi Tianyin with a smile. She looked very beautiful, but she gave people goosebumps as if she could see through them. It's okay. Yi Tianyin smiled casually. He was not afraid to look Jing Xian in the eye. When she was about to ask more questions, a beam of light suddenly flashed on the platform next to them. Then, the old man from the spiritual mountain appeared in front of them. Congratulations on passing the trial. If you want to take away the things here, you'll have to complete the last step. The old man's voice was emotionless. Yi Tianyin squinted. This should be according to the normal procedure. It wasn't under his control. Complete the last step? What's the last step? Zhu Xing asked confusedly. The last step is to make an oath with the purple gold divine pavilion. You'll swear to be the giant beast's enemy. The oath will be automatically lifted if you kill 500 giant beasts above the Grand Star Venerable level. The old man looked at them and said slowly, if you don't make the oath, you'll have to leave the treasures behind. Then, you can leave. We won't force you. As expected, the necessary procedure was still in place. This was established to kill the giant beasts. When they reached the last step, they would naturally have to make an oath. If they didn't make the oath, who knew if they would kill the giant beasts after they left? As expected, did you all make an oath? Jing Xian turned her head and looked at Yi Tianyin. We haven't. But if we don't make an oath, we won't be able to take away the treasures. Yi Tianyin shrugged. He walked over and said, I promise to be the giant beast's enemy until I kill 500 Grand Star Venerable beasts. If I don't fulfill my promise, I'll be punished by heaven. Okay. The old man nodded and pointed at him. A beam of light fell on his body. This meant that the oath had taken effect. This wasn't a scam. It had really taken effect. Even if he was the master of the purple gold divine pavilion, he still had to fulfill this oath. The old man was following the procedure. He wouldn't choose not to make an oath just because he was the master of the purple gold divine pavilion. The biggest difference between him and the others was that he wouldn't make an oath or take away the treasures. However, Etianyin had to do this in order to make it more realistic and hide his real identity. This wasn't a problem for him. After all, he had to kill the giant beasts. It was just a matter of quantity. Since they saw Etianyin make an oath, they could only make an oath. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to take away any treasures. A star venerable level treasure was a good deal in terms of quality-price ratio. Moreover, they would kill the giant beasts if they ran into them. Chapter 2258. Damn it, I still have to kill giant beasts. How troublesome. Zhu Xing frowned. He felt very unhappy, but he could only make an oath. Killing so many giant beasts before was already troublesome enough. Now, I still have to kill 500 giant beasts to get rid of this oath. How annoying. Zhu Xing's face was filled with disgust. He hated doing such things, but he could only do it. Looks like you hate killing giant beasts. Etianyin looked at him indifferently. That's right. I hate killing giant beasts. Why do you want me to kill giant beasts for no reason? What does the life and death of the outside world have to do with me? As long as they don't offend me, I don't care. Now, we still have to look for giant beasts to kill. Where are we going to look? Zhu Xing was most worried about where to look for giant beasts for major star venerates. Now that the giant beast clan has basically been exterminated, there's not even a trace of them left. How are we going to find 500 giant beasts to kill? Jing Xin frowned. She was also worried about this matter. Although there was no time limit, there was always a thought lingering in his mind. If he didn't complete the oath, there would be a knot in his heart. It would cause his thoughts to be blocked, which would be detrimental to his cultivation. This was why they were so dissatisfied, even though there was no time limit. Has the giant beast clan been annihilated? Etianyin smiled indifferently. They still didn't know the situation of the giant beast clan. They were all kept in the dark. They didn't know how many members of the giant beast clan had infiltrated the giant beast clan. Even now, many members of the giant beast clan had already infiltrated the giant beast clan. A batch of them had been cleared out before, but now more had infiltrated. This was enough to show how much the colossal beast race was willing to spend. Other than the giant beast race, he also discovered that the evil spirit race and the green demon race had mixed in. If not for the fact that he was the owner of the violet gold divine pavilion, he might not have known that they had entered. The more, the better. When the time comes, we'll kill them all. Etienne's eyes turned cold. When their numbers increased, he would kill them all. Here, he was the absolute master, and no one could escape his control. Unless their cultivation was heaven-defying or they weren't in the violet gold divine pavilion, they would all be under his control. For now, he would let them jump around for a while. When he found a place with no one around, he would catch them and harvest them. After Tian Kuang-Yue and the others entered, they also took an oath. If they didn't take the oath, they wouldn't be able to obtain the treasures. Most of the geniuses of the clans were able to pass the test of the 4 guards. It wasn't that the difficulty of the guards wasn't high, but the higher one's cultivation, the higher the difficulty. The key was that the guard would not kill them. If they failed, they could try again until they succeeded. They were supposed to fight against the behemoths. If they all died here, who would fight against the behemoths? There was difficulty, but it wasn't that exaggerated. It still required a bit of ability. No matter what, it was a selection of battle prowess, not the strongest disciple, so the requirements weren't that harsh. Just as they were thinking about how to find a behemoth to kill, the old man suddenly said, "All of you have successfully sworn your oaths. Now, move to the Mount Numinous trial area." With that said, he waved his hand, and all of them were swept into the spiritual mountain. It was a familiar scene. Etianyin had been to the training area of the spirit mountain a long time ago. It was the 10th level area, and nothing had changed. It was still the same spirit mountain full of godly medicines. It seemed like the so-called opportunity was just the purple cloud star emperor moving the broken honor flower over, adding another treasure. Originally, this was a kind of reward, so that they could challenge it and slightly stimulate them. This is the Spirit Mountain training area, and there are a total of 10 levels, the old man started explaining the place as soon as he moved them over. It was exactly the same as what he had explained to Tianyin, and he followed the procedure. These were the erased spirits that had been set up here, and they would definitely complete their tasks. After listening, they were all extremely excited. They didn't expect that there would be such a trial, especially when they saw that there were many godly medicines that suited them. They were even more excited. Great, there's the wood remnant grass that I want, which can improve my ability. Zhu Xing's eyes lit up, and he stared excitedly at the godly medicines on the 8th level. He wanted to start the trial immediately. It wasn't just him. Tian Kuan-Yue also turned his attention to the godly medicines on the 8th level. It was obvious that there were godly medicines that they needed. While they were excited, all the clans outside the gate also saw the situation here. It was obvious that this was the area where the trial officially began, so they could see the situation here in detail. What a huge spirit mountain. If we can collect all the godly medicines on the top, the power of our clans will definitely increase by a lot. Chuitong's eyes lit up. Even though their clans were huge, they couldn't help but look greedy at the sight of so many godly medicines. It's a pity that we can only get one stock of godly medicine on each level. It would be great if we could collect all of them. The elders of the Zhu family all felt that it was a pity. Bring back a little more. Tian Yueming's eyes lit up. Both Tian Kuan-Yue and Tian Xinghuan hoped that they would bring back a little more so that they could have all the godly medicines. The more Tian Xinghuan took, the better. If they really wanted to leave, they would have to hand over the godly medicines. While they were all hoping that the disciples they sent out would come back with so many godly medicines, Tianyun, who was below the Spirit Mountain training area, smiled. He pointed his finger gently, and Zhu Xing and Tian Kuan-Yue, who had wanted to participate in the trial, disappeared into thin air. The next moment, they appeared outside the gate. They still had that excited expression on their faces, as if they were ready to snatch the godly medicines. When they came to their senses, they were dumbfounded. We don't know that we are going to participate in the trial. Zhu Xing was stunned. He looked at the familiar scene in front of him and the familiar people. Everything seemed so strange. Tian Kuan-Yue was the same. They were all stunned and didn't know what was going on. The elders of the Zhu family and the Tian family looked over with their eyes wide open. They didn't know what was going on. We were teleported out. Zhu Xing and the others finally realized what was going on. They were inexplicably teleported out. Then why don't you go back and try? The elders of the Zhu family urged Zhu Xing to go back. Zhu Xing nodded and quickly walked towards the gate. Just as he walked over, he bumped into the light gate above and bounced back. Not to mention going back, he couldn't even enter. Tian Kuan-Yue also tried, but he also couldn't enter. He was completely blocked outside, just like the others. At this time, in the Spirit Mountain training area, some people had already started a challenge. They weren't teleported out, but they could challenge freely without any difficulty. What's going on? Their faces turned black. Why were they the only ones who were kicked out? What did they do? They didn't know what they had done wrong, but Tianyin knew. It was because they had provoked Tianyin. It was that simple. If they hadn't made an oath to kill the giant beast, he would have killed the two of them. Chapter 2259. Zhu Xing and Tian Kuan-Yue had been teleported out. Only they had been teleported out. The people outside were baffled. The people inside were also baffled. They did not know what had happened. Very inexplicably, two people disappeared. All of a sudden, he had caused them to panic. Who knew if they would be the next one to suffer? It would be troublesome if they were teleported out. It would take them a long time to run back in. The key was whether they could come in or not. They did not know what was going on outside. Of course, they did not know the details. No matter what was going on inside, the people outside knew what was going on. They could not go in. They could only watch helplessly from outside. This was the most painful part. Why? I did not do anything wrong. Why can't I go in? Zhu Xing kept hitting the light screen. A force bounced him off. With his ability, how could he smash this place open? He would only send himself flying. Tian Kuan-Yue was calmer outside. He was watching the scene on the light screen. He had not expected such a thing to happen. However, he could only accept it. Damn it! What's going on? The elders of the Zhu clan did not know what was going on. They could only watch helplessly from outside. No one knew what was going on, including Tian Yueming. He was also dumbfounded. Fortunately, there were still people inside, namely Heavenly Star Ring. The Zhu clan had also sent people inside. However, Zhu Xing, the most outstanding one, had been driven out. Wasn't this a slap in the face? While the people outside were on the verge of exploding, Tianyun was quite calm inside. How come Zhu Xing and Tian Kuan-Yue were teleported out? Heavenly Star Ring was confused. The two of them had suddenly disappeared. I don't know. I guess they did something wrong. Tianyun smiled. Jing Xian frowned. She couldn't figure out the reason either. If she could figure out the reason, it would be terrifying. No matter what, the trial had to go on. Tianyun didn't kick everyone out of the room. He didn't think it was necessary to do so. After all, there were only a few people who could really challenge the higher-ups. There were not many people in the first place. Not many Grand Star Venerables could enter. The spirit herbs in the lower layers of the spiritual mountain were ordinary. They did not have to worry about being picked. What he cared about was the divine herbs in the upper layers. Even if they were useless to him, they would be useful to his faction. He stayed on the side as a spectator, watching them go through the trials. Young Master Tianyun, aren't you going to take the trial? Jing Xian has already come down from one of the trials, and when she saw Tianyun was still motionless, she felt very strange. There's no rush. Let me observe the situation first. Only then can we fight steadily and surely. Tianyun casually made up an excuse. Even Heavenly Star Ring participated in the trial, but he didn't. It seems young Master Tianyun is going to check the upper layers. Jing Xian speculated that Tianyun wanted to see if anyone participated in the trial to evaluate the combat power of the puppet. Yu Xing Xian, Jing Xing said. Of course I'll try. Since young Master Tianyun said so, I'll try the 9th layer. Jing Xian smiled at him and flew to the 9th layer. Of course I'll give it a try. Since young Master Tianyun said so, I'll give a 9th floor a try. Jing Xian smiled at him and flew up to the 9th floor. Jing Xian was only an early-stage Grand Star Venerable. It would be difficult for her to fight the puppet on the 9th layer. Jing Xian's cultivation was only at the early stage of Grand Star Venerate. It would be difficult for her to fight against the puppets on the 9th floor. The puppet used its full power as soon as it went up, just like it used against Tianyun. It used its full power. Jing Xian knew what the puppet was going to do. She quickly formed hand seals. The lotus behind her rose and bloomed, releasing its strongest power. Jing Xian already knew her opponent's trick. She quickly formed a seal with her hands, and the lotus behind her rose up. The lotus flowers bloomed one after another and released their strongest power. While the surrounding cultivators thought she was going to be hit, Jing Xian quickly dodged to the side, barely dodging the shocking attack. Just as the surrounding cultivators thought she was about to be hit, Jing Xian quickly dodged to the side, barely dodging this astonishing attack. Jing Xian kept dodging. Sometimes, she could predict the direction of the puppet's attack and dodge it easily. Jing Xian kept dodging. Sometimes, she could predict the direction of the puppet's attack and dodge it easily. Her ability to predict the opponent's attack was obviously related to her star power. It allowed her to predict the opponent's attack in advance. They were all dumbfounded by such a method. Just by constantly dodging attacks, he would be in an invincible position. After dodging several times, Jing Xian quickly counterattacked. She formed hand seals and shot rays of divine light at the puppet. Every time she attacked, she could push the puppet back a distance. Moreover, the power of the attacks gradually increased. The puppet's fierce attacks were ineffective against her. The main thing was that her dodging speed was equally shocking. If her speed could not keep up, it would be meaningless to predict the opponent's attack angle. As expected of a unique star power, every one of them is so powerful. No wonder she could pass so many levels easily with such a low cultivation. Tianyun's eyes flickered as he observed Jing Xian's battle situation. Such a unique star Dharma form was indeed quite good. However, he was not tempted. If Jing Xin was scheming against him, he would not mind destroying the flower. After the battle lasted for a period of time, Jing Xin finally won. The puppet's body was full of wounds caused by the jade staff in her hand. The battle should have been very intense. It would take a lot of effort to defeat the puppet. But with Jing Xion's ability, everything became so easy. Phew, I almost failed. After Jing Xion came down, her face was slightly pale. Using this kind of prediction ability would still consume a lot of energy. Miss Jing Xion, you are really amazing. Tianyan had a whole new level of respect for Jing Xion. No wonder she was a super genius. Her ability was really amazing. It's all right. Now, young Master Tianyan, can you go and try? Jing Xion's beautiful eyes flickered. It was as if she was waiting for Tianyan to go and see his real strength. Is that so? I'm not in a hurry. Look, the others have all gone up to challenge. They were all influenced by you. Tianyan raised his head and gestured to the back to look. Jing Xion's success made some of the cultivators who wanted to participate in the 9th level immediately have some courage. They felt that this puppet was not very strong. But when someone really went up, they realized that it was not the case. In an instant, that cultivator was defeated and eliminated. Chapter 2260. The failure of so many cultivators further highlighted Jing Xion's strength. Tianyan was impressed by her powerful prediction ability. With this ability, it would not be difficult for her to face the 10th floor. The 10th floor did not require her to defeat the puppets. All she had to do was keep dodging. Jing Xion's ability allowed her to dodge and endure for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. However, Jing Xion did not know the real situation. Otherwise, she would not have challenged the 9th floor first, but the 10th floor. The difficulty of the 10th floor was terrifying for others. For Jing Xion, it was not as difficult as the 9th floor. No one is challenging now. Is young Master Tianyan not going up? Jing Xion was still hoping that Tianyan would go up and show his strength. Miss Jing Xion, do you really want me to go up and give it a try? Tianyan knew what she was thinking. She wanted to analyze him from all angles. Just not going up. Are you going to stay here and watch? Jing Xion did not give up. She wanted Tianyan to go up. Almost. I'm not interested in the spirit herbs up there. Can I just watch from here? Tianyan shrugged. He still did not want to go up. How is that possible? Even if you're a late-stage star venerable, the spirit herbs on the 8th floor and above will be very helpful to you. Jing Xion did not give up. Since it has come to this, I'll give it a try. Tianyan shrugged helplessly. It seemed that Jing Xion would not give up if he did not go up and show his strength. Although he was not afraid of her, there were so many people watching, especially the people from the various clans outside. He had to put on an act no matter what. Then I'll choose the 10th floor. Tianyan leaped up and rushed to the 10th floor. Jing Xion's eyes lit up. She could finally see Tianyan's strength. She hasn't seen Tianyan's power for a long time. She did not team up with Tianyan when dealing with the giant beasts, so she did not know the details. Now that he saw Tianyan go up, he could finally see what level Tianyan's ability had reached. Young Master Tianyan, show me your true strength. A meaningful look flashed across Jing Xion's eyes. Tianyan successfully entered the 10th level. Originally, he was unable to enter the 10th level, but now that he was the master of the Violet Gold Divine Pavilion, not to mention entering a second time, it wouldn't be a problem for him to sleep here. Whatever restrictions, they had nothing to do with him. Just to make it look more realistic, he came up to compete. As soon as they entered, the old man stated the rules at the same time. However, the rules had changed. From the original time of 1 incense stick, it had changed to 5 incense sticks worth of time. The reason why he took so long to upgrade was purely because he didn't want them to earn half a stalk of godly medicine. If they took away even 1 stalk, it would be a huge loss. Although he could transfer everyone away in one go, it would be too exaggerated to do so, and it would arouse suspicion. Soon, the puppet attacked ferociously. Yun quickly defended himself. He pulled out the thunder saber and continuously blocked the puppet's attacks. However, before he could block for long, the puppet threw a heavy punch at Yun's chest and sent him flying. Challenge failed. Eliminated. The old man was emotionless. With a slight wave of his hand, he sent Yun out. This situation stunned Jing Xin and Tian Xinghuan. They didn't expect Yun to lose just like that. Everything happened too quickly. Yun didn't even have time to use his Star Dharma idol before he was defeated. At the same time, they witnessed how terrifying the strength of the puppet on the 10th level was. The speed was so fast that Yun didn't even have time to use his Star Dharma idol before he lost. Young Master Tian Yun lost just like that. Jing Xin was very disappointed. She didn't expect Yun to lose so easily. This feeling was completely different from what she had expected. She thought that Yun could win. Tian Xinghuan thought the same. He thought that Yun wouldn't say much and should be able to win. At the very least, he should be able to win a few matches below the 10th level. Now that he lost the first match, it was really a waste of time. When this scene was seen by the Tian family outside, they were stunned at first. Then they mocked. So what if this guy's talent is good? It's just that his brain isn't that good. He directly challenged the 10th level. Is he an idiot? Brother, Tian Yuan sighed. He felt that it was a pity. He didn't expect that Yun would end up like this. Tian Kuangyue and Zhu Xing were full of schadenfreude. When they saw Yun being sent flying, they both laughed. Directly challenging the 10th level, there's really something wrong with his brain. I can't challenge it, but his situation isn't any better than mine. Zhu Xing laughed. At least, Yun's performance made Jing Xin feel very disappointed. Her favorable impression of him was greatly reduced. Tian Kuangyue felt that losing face in front of Tian Xinghuan was also a pleasant thing. After Yun disappeared, he was quickly teleported out. I'm very sorry, I failed the challenge. After being teleported out, Yun smiled at Tian Yuan. It's okay. Victory and defeat are common. It's normal to occasionally fail. Tian Yuan comforted him. Hey, weren't you very arrogant before? You arrived faster than me and obtained the keys so quickly. Looks like you're quite capable. But now you failed. Zhu Xing brought a group of people to surround Yun. He sneered. You were protected inside, but now? Can you still be arrogant? Zhu Xing brought the other elders to surround Yun. The other elders' gazes were very unfriendly. They had all seen Zhu Xing's situation inside. They must be very annoyed with Yun. Now, they were sizing up Yun because they had more people. I'll give you two choices. Either you die or you hand over the treasures. Zhu Xing glared at him fiercely. Don't tell me you don't have any treasures. You got a Star Venerable level treasure inside. Looking at the group of Grand Star Venerables surrounding him, Yun smiled faintly. He did not care at all. Oh, it seems like you're very confident you can take the treasures from me. Seeing that Yun could still smile, the others thought Yun must have been beaten silly. They only had 2 people at most. How could they resist the Zhu family's Grand Star Venerables? The Zhu family had sent 8 Grand Star Venerables. 2 of them were in the late stage of Grand Star Venerables, and they could easily crush their opponents. What do you think? Zhu Xing looked at Yun as if he was looking at an idiot. Tian Yuan's gaze turned cold. He sent a sound transmission to Yun. Brother let's kill our way out together. Chapter 2261. Not only was Yun not nervous in the face of so many powerhouses surrounding him, he could even smile. After all, the people surrounding him were no small matter. They were the strongest fighters of the Zhu family. Who would be able to stop them when there were so many of them? Others might be worried, but he wasn't. This was his territory. He could move these Great Star Venerables to a dangerous area with a flick of his finger. They wouldn't even know how they died then. He couldn't do what the Purple Cloud Star Emperor did, where he could freeze them in midair and kill them at will. Only a Divine Star Venerable could do that. His cultivation wasn't that strong, so he naturally couldn't do that. However, he could still use the purple gold divine pavilion to increase his strength greatly. He didn't feel any pressure in escaping. I wonder if there's anyone else. Tianyun looked ahead and saw the Zhu family surrounding him with a cold expression. Arrogant, too arrogant. I heard this kid is a super genius. He's young, but he's too arrogant. Yes, too arrogant. His cultivation isn't bad. If he keeps cultivating, he'll break through to the divine, star venerable level sooner or later. Now he's provoking the Zhu family. How irrational. It's not just irrational. He's simply stupid. Some geniuses are like this. They're too arrogant and put themselves in danger. The family elders at the side criticized Tianyun, thinking it was a pity. So what if he wasn't even 10,000 years old? He could only kneel in the face of so many strong enemies. By the time the surrounding elders made way for them, they had already been surrounded so tightly that it would be extremely difficult for them to escape. Tian Yueming and the others were gloating over his misfortune, not showing any intention of helping. Since Tianyun wanted to die, they were happy to watch from the side. Most importantly, they didn't like this kind of traitor. They couldn't wait for Tianyun to die. Oh, I almost forgot about you. Tianyun glanced in the direction of the Mu clan. Just now, the Mu clan's elder was also looking at him with displeasure. Immediately, he stretched out his hand and flicked his wrist. Very quickly, Mu Ran, who was in the middle of the trial, was sent flying just like that. When he landed, he staggered a few steps back and almost fell to the ground. Mu Ran? When the Mu clan saw that Mu Ran was also ejected, they were extremely shocked. Why was Mu Ran also sent flying out for no reason? What's going on? Mu Ran wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Zhu Xing and Tian Kuanyue were teleported out, but why was he teleported out as well? This made the Mu clan, who were originally gloating over their misfortune, immediately collapse. They originally thought that Tianyun was being irrational, but now they were in no mood at all. Zhu Xing and the others paid a little attention to it before turning their gazes over again. They felt a little happy in their hearts. Since they couldn't stay inside, they couldn't bear to see other people staying inside. Hurry up and make your choice. Are you going to hand it in or not? Zhu Xing's expression was ferocious. He was prepared to foresee Tianyun being ruthlessly abused. He might even slowly kill Tianyun. It was impossible for him to let go of Tianyun. The main reason was that Tianyun's talent was astonishing. If he let him go, there would definitely be trouble in the future. You only dare to rely on your family's help. If you have the ability, why don't you fight me one-on-one? Tianyun looked at him with a mocking expression. He wasn't in a hurry to kill everyone. It wasn't that he didn't have the ability to do so. It was just that the effect of killing everyone was direct. However, he felt that the giant beast clan in the violet gold divine pavilion was getting restless. Many of them were rushing over. Many of them were already guarding outside. This meant that the war was about to begin. Under such circumstances, although he didn't like the Zhu clan, they still had some combat strength. It was not bad to let them fight against the giant beast clan. It was better than being killed by him. That would be a waste of combat strength. Why not? Zhu Xing was immediately infuriated. He didn't want others to say that he only relied on his family and not himself. Tianyun laughed when he saw that Zhu Xing accepted the challenge so readily. Zhu Xing was so easily angered. His state of mind was really unstable. He originally had such a huge advantage. However, he was instantly crippled. If it was him, he would directly call a group of people over and do whatever he wanted. As for whether it was fair or not, winning was the best outcome. Zhu Xing stood up and said to the elders behind him, "Leave this to me. I will let him know the true gap between us." The elders looked at each other and saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. However, they still decided to support Zhu Xing. It was good to be able to settle things like this. Moreover, they were all at the side. If Tianyun made a move, they would immediately attack. Under such circumstances, they could only let Zhu Xing act recklessly. At the same time, they wanted Zhu Xing to practice. Zhu Xing's state of mind wasn't very good. However, his combat talent was really not bad. Etionyan agreed with this. He had passed so many trials so quickly and even dealt with the 4 guards in the end. This meant that he was quite capable. He couldn't be trash if he could cultivate to such a level. If he was trash, then the whole world would be trash. Zhu Xing's biggest weakness was that he was easily angered. If he was not in a good state of mind, he could easily fall into the opponent's trap. What gap? Etionyan found it funny. This Zhu Xing was indeed an arrogant person. He couldn't tolerate even the slightest mistake. Once he was humiliated, he would do anything to get back at Etionyan. A gap that can't be bridged. Zhu Xing walked towards Etionyan step by step. The unique star Dharma idol behind him burst out. A huge heavenly star scarlet wolf appeared behind him. Thick wolf fur also appeared on the surface of his body. It looked quite tough. He was still very cautious when facing Etionyan. He immediately burst out with his full combat prowess. He was a mid-stage Grand Star Venerable, while Etionyan was a late-stage Star Venerable. He had to be cautious. Zhu Xing might sound arrogant and prideful, but when it came to a real fight, he would still make a judgment. No matter how useless Zhu Xing was, he wouldn't lose his mind because of anger. Unless his opponent was weak, he wouldn't be cautious. This was also one of his carelessness. For example, if Etionyan was an early-stage Grand Star Venerable, he definitely wouldn't be so cautious. That was Zhu Xing's character. Sometimes he was cautious, and sometimes he was careless. It would depend on the situation. Just because of this unique Star Dharma idol? Etionyan said calmly. Yes, just because of my unique Star Dharma idol. Zhu Xing's gaze was cold. Don't think that you're stronger than me, just because your cultivation is higher than mine. Some things can't be measured by cultivation alone. Chapter 2262. He had his own Star Dharma form, 48 units of astral power, Star Venerable level treasures, and amazing martial techniques. With so many layers, his fighting power would not be that simple. It was not difficult to fight someone at a higher level than him. It was especially easy for Zhu Xing to fight someone in the late stage of the Grand Star Venerable realm. He could kill his opponent in a second by just relying on the combination of astral power and his own Star Dharma form. So, this is what you're relying on. Etionyan shook his head and smiled. He had to admit that Zhu Xing was simple and crude, but also shallow. That's right. This is what I'm relying on. Do you have it? Zhu Xing's eyes were full of disdain. He felt superior to Etionyan. As long as he had his own Star Dharma form, he would be superior to others. Then, let's give it a try. Etionyan smiled faintly. His aura surged crazily. He was ready to fight. Don't worry. I'll spare your life so that Sister Jingxin can see how miserable you look, Zhu Xing said with a cold gaze. I'll let her know who's more outstanding. But she doesn't like me. Etionyan shrugged his shoulders and said, Are you misunderstanding something? She just wants to get information from me and understand my situation. Don't treat me as a rival in love, okay? Nonsense. I saw her flirting with you. Don't try to defend yourself. Zhu Xing said angrily. Bro, she just wants to figure out how to deal with me and understand my situation. You're wrongly accusing me. Although Etionyan did not want to explain anything to him, the way the people around looked at him was a little different. There were so many big families watching. How could it not be wrongly accusing Jingxin of flirting with him? Especially Chu Hatong and the others. They all looked at him strangely, as if they were looking at their future husband. After watching for a while, they shook their heads and felt it was a pity. They probably felt that Etionyan was good in all aspects, but he did not have a strong background, so he was not in their consideration at all. Maybe he had a divine, Star Venerable behind him. Previously, they were afraid that Etionyan had an expert backing him up. However, he still hadn't appeared. If this continued, he would be dead for sure. At first, he wanted Zhu Xing to be careful and not cause any conflict with Etionyan. Now, there was no need to worry. After observing for so long, he felt that there was no one helping him. He was alone. At most, Tian Yuan would help, but that was meaningless. He wouldn't be of much help at all. Moreover, they had already come this far. It would be easy for them to take away the star-level treasure. Who knows, Tianyin might have collected some other treasures along the way. If he looted the place, he might really get a lot of good stuff. Don't try to defend yourself. I will let you know the consequences of approaching my little sister Jingxin. Zhu Xing had already lost his mind. He wanted to beat up Tianyin and let Jing Xian witness his abilities. Tianyin fell helpless. It seemed that he had been misunderstood. The big families around him were looking at him strangely. The Chu family and the Zhu family had wanted to unite by marriage. Tianyin had interfered. Wasn't he courting death? Then Zhu Xing charged at Tianyin. He stomped on the ground and turned into a giant red wolf, pouncing at him. Scorching waves of fire spread out. The temperature of the area rose rapidly. Even the air turned red. Tianyin, kneel! Zhu Xing howled. The heavenly star red wolf's power shrouded the area. The flames in the sky gathered into a sea of fire. Then they turned into a heavenly star red wolf and pressed down. He wanted to use this overbearing power to force Tianyin to kneel. You want to force me to kneel with such power? Tianyin sneered. The power in his body surged out crazily. He did not use his unique star laws. Instead, he used the 4-star laws that he had obtained. They turned into shadows and floated at the side. His power quickly stacked up. This was not the end. He pulled out the Thunder Long Saber. The power in his body surged again and poured into the Thunder Long Saber. At the same time, he activated Crazy Mode. Crazy Mode, 50 times damage stacked. Without activating the star power, it was already 50 times damage stacked. Now, with the special power of the 4-star laws, he was able to resist Zhu Xing's power in one go. Break for me! Tianyin waved the Thunder Long Saber. The thick thunder light giant saber slashed towards the heavenly star red wolf. The overbearing power easily split the heavenly star red wolf into two. The remaining saber aura continued to slash towards Zhu Xing. Lightning flashed. Zhu Xing's expression changed. He did not expect that his opponent would be able to block his killing move when he used his full power. Scarlet Flame Shock. Zhu Xing didn't dare to hide anymore. He slammed his palm into the air, and a powerful flame spread out from his palm, causing the entire space to shake and distort. Circle after circle of flame spread out like a thick wall of fire towards Tianyin. After the thick lightning aura hit the wall of fire, it was quickly weakened. At the same time, it was slightly dispersed by the flames. When it hit the second wall of fire, it completely dispersed. It was indeed a galaxy-grade peak martial technique. It could explode the power of his cultivation to its fullest. Too weak. Is this the gap you're talking about? In that case, continue to break for me. Tianyin laughed loudly. The power of a late-stage star venerable erupted from his body. A majestic power burst out of his body and gathered on the Thunder Long Saber. The Thunder Long Saber buzzed as if it had sensed the powerful power. It was extremely excited. Boom! The Thunder Long Saber aura slashed towards Zhu Xing again. Wherever it went, the space was distorted. The crackling lightning spread in all directions like a dense spiderweb. As soon as it touched the thick wall of fire, the wall of fire was destroyed by the lightning aura. Everything was turned into nothingness. In one breath, Yi Xian broke several thick walls of fire and reached Zhu Xing instantly. Zhu Xing's so-called killing move was just a decoration. How is it possible? Zhu Xing was shocked, but he was not slow. He waved his hand quickly and finally took out the star venerable grade treasure he had obtained before. He used it to block the attack. Boom! The lightning aura hit him. Even though he took out the star venerable grade treasure to block it in a hurry, he could not suppress Tianyin's overbearing saber quickly. With a loud noise, Zhu Xing was sent flying. In the end, he hit the wall. He grunted and spat out a mouthful of blood, which dyed the ground in front of him red. His body was char-black, and he seemed to be in an extremely sorry state. Chapter 2263. Zhu Xing was completely defeated by Tianyin without using the star aspect. Everyone was dumbfounded by the result. That was a unique star aspect, not an ordinary star aspect. In this case, Etion is still defeated, which shocked other people. But more people think that Etion is really amazing. It would have been fine if he had defeated Zhu Xing with the star aspect, but he had defeated his opponent without using the star aspect. It was unbelievable. To Candlestar, it was the greatest humiliation. He had always been proud of his unique star aspect, but he had been defeated by Etion without using the star aspect. It was easy to imagine how complicated he felt. Zhu Xing's greatest advantage was his unique star aspect. Now that he could not defeat Yi Fuqian even though he had the star aspect, how could he fight? This is unbelievable. They were all dumbfounded. Chu Hetong and the others finally understood why Jing Xin had asked them not to fight. His power was too shocking. Most late-stage star venerables could not endure Zhu Xing's burst of power. Not only did Etion endure it, but he also defeated his opponent without using the star aspect. Cough, cough, cough. Zhu Xing stood up from the ground, his body wobbling. Etion's attack had injured him quite a bit. He felt pain all over his body. He had not experienced this feeling for a long time. It could be said that he had always been the one suppressing his opponent, not the other way around. I will kill you, Zhu Xing roared. The star Scarlet Wolf behind him let out a howl and started to merge with his body, healing his injuries quickly. Very quickly, he reached the stage where he was one with his beast, forming a complete entity. His entire body was covered in red fur, and every single strand of fur looked extremely sturdy. More importantly, the fluctuations of the flames in the surroundings rapidly rose by a large margin. With the ability to transform into his original body, his power had truly reached its peak. He had not used his full power before. He had used his full power when he merged with the star aspect. Only then could he achieve the strongest power. Zhu Xing believed that he could still defeat Etion without transforming into his original body. Now, it seemed like he was overthinking. He needed to unleash his full strength to kill Etion. Although this was not his original intention, he did not care about anything else in his rage. He only wanted to ruthlessly defeat his opponent. With so many elders of the big families watching, one could imagine how humiliated they felt. If he didn't get back at them, their Zhu family wouldn't be able to raise their heads in front of the other families. Even if they felt that he had won unfairly, at least he had killed Etion instead of Etion defeating him. Winner takes all. Everything was based on the result. The degree of fusion can reach this level. Not bad, Etion said, with a bit of appreciation for Zhu Xing. Generally, those who can achieve this level of fusion have a very high degree of fusion. Not all cultivators can achieve this step. The higher the level of the star aspect, the harder it was to reach this level. Now that Zhu Xing had reached this step, Lin Fan admired him a little. However, admiration was one thing. Zhu Xing was a little too narrow-minded. Your power is not bad. I have a whole new level of respect for you to reach this level, Etion said with a faint smile, looking at Zhu Xing, whose aura had soared. Everyone's expression changed. They did not expect Etion to be so calm at this moment. Was he really not going to use the star aspect to fight? If he could really defeat his opponent without using the star aspect, it would definitely be a heaven-defying feat after all. Only some special late-stage Grand Star Venerables could fight Candlestar at this level. How could Etion not be heaven-defying if he could defeat Zhu Xing without the help of other forces? I'll give you one chance to use the star aspect. Otherwise, you will never have the chance to use it again. After the Candlestar burst out, it did not attack immediately. Instead, it generously displayed the Star Dharma idol for him. In fact, he was also trying to save his face. If both of them used the star aspect, he would feel different when he defeated Etion. At least after he defeated Etion, he would prove that his overall power was stronger than Etion's. If he did not kill Etion, he would be criticized for not using the star aspect and had an unfair advantage. Although the result was the most important, reputation was equally important. I should be the one to say this, but I have to change it. If I use Star Dharma Idol, you won't stand a chance at all. Tianyun said with a smile, looking very confident. Arrogant, Zhu Xing said angrily. If that's the case, then go to hell. Zhu Xing roared and stomped the ground with all his might. Fine cracks appeared on the sturdy ground. He quickly turned into a huge ball of flames and charged over. The huge flaming tornado swept everything in its surroundings over. If the cultivators in the surroundings did not have low cultivations, they would have been sucked in immediately. Even though they were far away, they could still feel the terrifying suction. If they were sucked in, they would definitely be burned to ashes. Even if they were not burned to ashes, there were countless red thorns in the flaming tornado. Those were Zhu Xing's hairs. Countless strands of hair could easily grind anything that was swept into powder. If something was grinded to pieces and burned to ashes, such a killing move would terrify people. At this time, everyone's eyes are looking at Tianyun. Is Tianyun still so stubborn that he won't even use Star Dharma Idol? If he did not use it, he would not stand a chance. Zhu Xing's current power was definitely at the peak. If his cultivation improved further, he would be invincible among the Grand Star Venerables. At this moment, Jing Xin happened to be bounced out of the teleportation formation. She had failed to challenge the 10th floor. After the time was changed, she could not last more than the time for 5 incense sticks to burn. She could only last for 2 incense sticks to burn at most before she failed completely. Her star aspect could help her predict many attacks, but she had to cooperate with her body to be able to dodge them quickly. After dodging for too many times, she finally lost her strength and could only fail. She saw Tianyun and Zhu Xing fighting as soon as she came out of the teleportation formation. Don't you want to know what kind of star aspect I have? I'll show you now. Tianyun's eyes turned cold. The unique star aspect behind him surged quickly. Soon, a huge 7-colored emperor dragon dashed out from behind him. The dragon's roar echoed in the entire palace. Unique star aspect. Chapter 2264. Unique Star Law. This stunned everyone. In an instant, Candle Star's strength, which they were so proud of, had no advantage at all. If Tianyun had an ordinary star law, he would have had an advantage. But now that Tianyun had a unique star law, what else was there to say? He was able to defeat Candle Star even before he used his star law idol. Now that he had used his unique star law, what other advantages did Zhu Xing have? This is impossible. How? How can you have a unique star law? Zhu Xing, who was rushing over, roared. However, his attack did not slow down at all. Once his attack was unleashed, there was no reason for him to retract it. You think you can have it, but I can't. Tianyun didn't transform into his original body. He only released his strongest astral power and stacked them on top of each other. 68 cubic meters of astral power was indeed terrifying. It was much more powerful than Zhu Xing. If he transformed into his original body, he would be even more powerful. Tianyun wouldn't give Zhu Xing any chance to turn the tables. The unique star law behind him opened its mouth and swallowed Zhu Xing's astral power. It devoured 1/3 of Zhu Xing's astral power and turned it into his own 71 cubic meters of astral power. 67 cubic meters of astral power was already incredible. Now that he had increased it to 71 cubic meters, it was terrifying and had reached an unprecedented level. The others turned pale. This power was incredible. How were they going to fight? Jing Xin was stunned when she saw the star law behind Tianyun. Then, she was pleasantly surprised. So it's him. I want you to die. Zhu Xing let out another furious roar. Blood gushed out of his body and surged into his hair. His power rose once again, but it was meaningless. The increase in power was powerful, but it wasn't as powerful as Tianyun's 71 cubic meters of astral power. The key was that Zhu Xing had 71 cubic meters of astral power. His real power was more than 71 cubic meters. He had the bonus of crazy mode. His combat power was incredible. Get down. Tianyun stepped forward in the void, and the seven-color Emperor Dragon above him released its own dragon power and slammed forward. It looked like a simple and unadorned move, but with a single slap, it easily dispersed the terrifying flame tornado. Together with the candle star, it was smashed into the ground and flattened. The wolf fur on his body fell off completely. What sturdy wolf fur? What flames that could burn everything? Under this slap, everything was scattered. Even Zhu Xing was severely injured. This verified what Yi Tianyan had said. If Yi Tianyan used a star law, then Zhu Xing would have no chance at all. Now it was really so. How could there be any chance to speak of? He was directly smashed to pieces by his palm. Kill him. Zhu Xing raised his head with great difficulty and glared at them viciously. He wanted the other elders to kill him. When the elders of the Zhu family saw this, they were also furious. The seven of them quickly surrounded him. I don't know where you're from, but you must die today. They did not dare to let Yi Tianyan go. Once they let Yi Tianyan go, if Yi Tianyan became a divine, star venerable one day, and held a grudge, the Zhu family would really be done for. As soon as he finished speaking, the seven great star venerables all unleashed their level 6 star law. The seven elders surrounded him. They were the strongest fighting force of the Zhu family. Just because of what you said, you must also die today, Yi Tianyan said calmly. I wanted to let you go, but it seems like you're not satisfied. Immediately, Yi Tianyan smiled. His smile was so cold that it made the surrounding elders tremble, and a bad feeling welled up in their hearts. You're talking big. Do you think you can defeat us just because you defeated Zhu Xing? You're too naive. Cut the crap. Come and accept your death. The first elder of the Zhu family turned his hand, and a star of venerable level treasure appeared in his hand. Another elder was also holding a star of venerable level treasure. No wonder they were not afraid of Yi Tianyan. They all had powerful treasures. Besides, the seven of them were attacking him together, so they were quite confident. However, this was not enough to scare Yi Tianyan. I'll show you what a real body looks like. Yi Tianyan stepped forward. The seven-color Emperor Dragon instantly integrated into his body. His body immediately made a crackling sound, and soon his body was abruptly expanded by a big circle. Thick dragon scales covered his body. At the same time, colorful lights were emitted from the surface of his body. This caused his already frightening aura to increase explosively once again. Don't let him finish merging with his body. They were shocked. Seeing this, they did not dare to stay outside and watch. Instead, they all surrounded him and attacked him. The elders of the other big families all moved away from him. They did not dare to get close to him in case they got hurt. They would not help him. They were not related to Yi Tianyan. Why would they help him? He couldn't wait to get as far away as possible. It was even more impossible for him to get close. Tian Yuan wanted to help, but Yi Tianyan told him not to. He could handle himself. Under such circumstances, heaven-traveling Yuan could only watch from the side. Tian Xing Huan came out. She had challenged Lin Fan a few times, but she had failed. She had just come out, and she saw such a scene. She was shocked. She opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but the fight had already started. Boom! The attacks of the seven Grand Star Venerables landed in the area where Yi Tianyan was. They created a destructive power. Under this bombardment, the hard ground rapidly cracked into a dense spider web that rapidly spread in all directions. Is he dead? Zhu Xing was barely able to raise his head and observe the situation over here. His red eyes were filled with joy. Even if he could not kill Yi Tianyan, he could at least see Yi Tianyan die in front of him. Plus, Yi Tianyan's unique star Dharma idol was there. He wanted Yi Tianyan to die even more. When the others thought Yi Tianyan was dead, a ghostly voice appeared behind them. Who died? Everyone turned around and saw Yi Tianyan standing behind them, unharmed. He was not a fool. He would not stand there and let them attack him. With a simple shift, he had managed to escape. Yi Tianyan had finished merging with his body. He looked like a fierce dragon in human form. His thick dragon scales were terrifying. His aura was much stronger than Zhu Xing's. Chapter 2265. Other star venerables would have been scared off by the Zhu family's grand star venerables. There were 7 grand star venerables in front of them. 2 of them were in the late stage of the star venerables, and they all had star venerable level treasures. With the 2 superimposed, their strength could be said to have reached an extremely powerful realm. They could defeat all the factions on the desolate dragon planet. Most of the factions on the Red Moon planet would not be able to resist such a terrifying attack. Etienne's expression did not change. He looked calm, as if the 7 grand star venerables in front of him were not grand star venerables, but 7 star venerables. Devour the starry sky. Etienne swallowed the astral power of 4 grand star venerables and turned it into the astral power above his head. Etienne's limit was 68 cubes of astral power. Now that he had swallowed the astral power of 4 people, the nebula above his head spun crazily. It was like a galaxy enveloping him. He went from 68 cubes of astral power to 80 cubes in one go. He could look down on everyone. 80 cubes of astral power. The group of people gulped. Some of them almost swallowed their own tongues. They had never seen someone in the late stage of the Star Venerables explode with 80 cubes of astral power. Just this combination alone was enough to kill any Star Venerables in the late stage. They had rarely seen Divine Star Venerables, but they thought even a Divine Star Venerate would not be killed in one move. They would probably be able to resist a few moves. Such a terrifying power shook the surrounding space, as if it would collapse at any moment. Especially the 80 cubes of astral power above their heads. If they were not in the purple gold divine pavilion, they would have exploded. The area it covered was too wide. Even the roof in the sky was about to explode. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They were afraid of being dominated by astral power. Even Divine Star Venerables might not be able to reach 80 cubes of astral power. However, Etienne could do it. What a strange ability. I thought he could only use it once. Who knew he could swallow so many in a row? Chu Hitong and the others were stunned. They had never seen Etienne's ability before. Now that they had seen it for themselves, they were truly shocked. When they devoured the star power of the Candle Star, they were all shocked. They felt that there was such a special ability. Now, it was even more shocking. He swallowed the star power of 4 people in a row, increasing his own star power by a large amount, and at the same time, weakening the star power of his opponents by a large amount. After the 2 superimposed, it was equivalent to a double enhancement. They had never seen such a terrifying ability before. It showed them what a unique star Dharmalaksana was like. Even the Candle Star's unique star form wasn't this powerful, was it? Initially, I didn't want to get rid of all of you. After all, you were a large group of experts that could be used to deal with the Giant Beast clan. However, I have to make an example out of you now. How could Etienne not know that many forces were eyeing them covetously? Most importantly, if he wanted to intimidate them, he had to unleash his strongest power and completely suppress them. At this moment, the 7 Grand Star Venerables quickly surrounded him. They gathered their power again and attacked Etienne. Go to hell. The elders of the Zhu clan showed ferocious expressions. Let's see where you can hide this time. They were shocked by Etienne's ability, but they were still very confident in themselves. If the 7 Grand Star Venerables worked together, would they still be unable to deal with Etienne? Etienne's gaze turned cold. If it were in the past, I might have been a little afraid. But now, he increased his power again. The giant image of the 7-colored Emperor Dragon charged forward to meet the attack head-on. He did not even try to hide. He chose to face them head-on. Boom! The majestic 7-colored Emperor Dragon let out a dragon roar and broke the light net encircling it. It was like tearing a piece of paper. The joint attack of the 7 Grand Star Venerables was so weak before Etienne's attack. Puff! They all spat up blood. After their attacks were torn apart, they suffered a backlash from their own power. This was the weakness of a joint attack. Once their attack was broken, they would suffer a backlash. It might not be serious, but they would at least be injured. Most importantly, the 7 Grand Star Venerables could not withstand a single attack from Etienne. When they were sent flying by the backlash, before they could recover, A huge figure had already covered them and directly pressed down from the sky. With a dong sound, one of the elders was smashed into a bloody mist. The first one, Itianyun, said softly. His voice was not loud, but it spread throughout the area and reached everyone's ears. Soon, Itianyun charged at the next elder and struck him again. With a dong sound, he smashed him into a bloody mist. In less than half a breath's time, he killed 2 elders easily. It felt like the Grand Star Venerables were like tofu that could be smashed easily. The second one, Itianyun's voice is like a curse. It reaches everyone's ears. It's like being hit in the heart. It's quite depressing, even fear. They imagine themselves being punched. They cannot resist it at all. Itianyun didn't use any fancy moves. He just used his fist to hit the ground. However, such a simple move contained an incomparably terrifying power. All of the power was condensed into this punch. Itianyun didn't stop. He rushed to the other elder again. Taking advantage of the fact that they haven't recovered yet, he wants to kill them. The third one. The fourth one. Finally, after killing 4 in a row, they finally calmed down. They're all on guard, breathing heavily. Their eyes are staring at Itianyun in case he continues to attack. Do you think you can resist my attack like this? Itianyun walked toward them step by step. They felt the palace shake with each step. Absolute power. No matter how you defend, you can't resist my attack. Dong! Itianyun charged at one of them again. A horrifying aura shrouded him. That elder turned pale. His eyes were filled with Itianyun's figure. At the last moment of his life, his eyes were filled with Itianyun's figure. The elder tried his best to resist Itianyun's attack, but it was useless, and he was killed by Itianyun's punch. This was true absolute power. In the face of absolute power, any kind of resistance was futile. No one could resist the superposition of 80 cubic meters of astral power. Not only did it have 80 cubic meters of astral power, but it also had the superposition of crazy mode. Who could resist it? It was far beyond the late stage of a Grand Star Venerable. It was almost on par with a Divine Star Venerable. The fifth one. Chapter 2266. 5 of the Zhu family's elders were killed. 2 of them were late-stage Star Venerables. He did not prioritize killing the weakest, but the strongest. Killing 2 elders in an instant was equivalent to cutting off 2 of the Zhu family's arms. Now, that 5 of them were killed, even if the remaining 2 were not killed, the Zhu family was basically done for. They had fallen from the top of the rankings to the bottom. However, it was impossible for Itianyun to let the other 2 go. Since they wanted to attack him, they had to pay the price. The 6th, the 7th. All 7 elders of the Zhu family were killed. Not a single one was left. The only one still alive was Zhu Xing, who was lying on the ground, unable to move. He had seen all the elders killed with his own eyes. He was the only one left. It's over. Itianyun's demonic voice finally ended. Everyone could not calm down from their shock. They would probably never forget this scene. All the Zhu family's experts were killed by Itianyun alone, and it was a complete massacre. Such a tyrannical posture made them feel incomparably horrified, and they felt that everything was a dream. Other Great Star Venerables would not be able to do this. In the end, he walked up to Zhu Xing, whose eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. He looked down at him and said calmly, "Finally, it's your turn." Zhu Xing looked at him with fear in his eyes. He had not expected Itianyun to kill all the Zhu family's elders. He had thought the Zhu family's elders could kill Itianyun. He had not expected the result to be so miserable. All of them were killed. You're a demon." Zhu Xing screamed miserably. You killed all the Zhu family's elders. Demon, you're a demon. If you don't provoke me, then I won't be a devil. Itianyun said with a smile. It's time to send you to hell. The other elders are waiting for you to go with them. Itianyun said with a smile. You'll die a horrible death if you kill me. Our Zhu family has a divine, Star Venerable. Zhu Xing roared, trying to threaten him with the prestige of a divine, Star Venerable. You speak as if your Zhu family's divine star venerables wouldn't come to kill me if I didn't kill you, Tianyun said indifferently. Aren't you going to bid farewell to Miss Jingxin one last time? Jingxin? How could Zhu Xing still be in the mood? Everyone was dead, but he anxiously turned his head to look at the Chu family and roared. Are you just going to watch your Zhu family die? Didn't you want to marry our Zhu family before? Help me kill him, quick. Young Master Zhu, we can't do that. Chua looked at him with pity. Tianyun had given them too much of a shock. If they were to attack Tianyun, even if they managed to kill Tianyun, the price they would have to pay would be very heavy. As for the marriage, all the elders of the Zhu clan were dead, so what marriage was there to talk about? Without any powerhouses, the Zhu clan was just an empty shell. They had heard of divine, star-venerable powerhouses, but who knew where they were? It was rumored that the Zhu clan had a divine star-venerable powerhouse, but it seemed that he had left the Zhu clan to travel the world. How could such an illusory thing have any deterrent effect if it was said to be true? If it was said that he was in seclusion in the Zhu clan, it would have some deterrent effect. Zhu Xing's eyes narrowed. He hadn't expected such an ending. Then, he looked at Jing Xian. Jing Xian's gaze had never changed. She was still very indifferent. She didn't care about him at all. Zhu Xing's heart immediately sank to the bottom. He felt that everything was so miserable. That's right. Didn't you say that the possessor of the star aspect unique to the desolate dragon planet was very weak? Actually, I am that person from the desolate dragon planet. After Tianyun finished speaking, he lifted his foot and stomped down on Zhu Xing. Only the two of them could hear him. Zhu Xing's eyes narrowed. His eyes were filled with shock. After thinking about it carefully, it really was so. Unique star aspect powerhouses. Scarlet Moon Planet had two unique star aspect owners. Now that Tianyun was the possessor of a unique star aspect, he definitely wasn't from Scarlet Moon Planet. Then, he might be from the desolate dragon planet. That aboriginal planet. How can he be so strong? Zhu Xing couldn't believe this fact. Tianyun didn't continue to explain. He lifted his foot and stomped down heavily. When he was about to stomp him to death, a sigh suddenly came from the side. Little friend, why are you so heartless? Let go of the Zhu clan's last hope. An old voice came from behind a group of cultivators. At the same time, a wave of power surged over and wrapped around Zhu Xing's body. This made the foot that Tianyun was about to stomp down forcefully. He couldn't continue even half a step. At that moment, an old man walked out of the crowd. Suddenly, someone shouted in shock, It's Lord Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder. Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder? They were stunned. A divine star elder had appeared to protect Zhu Xing. They had all heard of Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder. He was a super powerhouse from a long time ago. Everyone thought he was dead. They didn't expect him to still be alive and even come in. However, there was no point in coming in. He couldn't enter the training area. He was too old to enter. Ha! It's Lord Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder. Great, you're finally willing to help. Zhu Xing laughed. His eyes, which had been full of despair, suddenly became full of hope. He even became arrogant. With the help of a divine star elder, what was there for him to be afraid of? Break! The power under Tianyun's feet surged. He stomped hard, and the barrier protecting Zhu Xing was shattered. His foot landed directly on Zhu Xing's head. Stop! Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder roared. He didn't expect that Tianyun would dare to do this after seeing him. Tianyun turned a deaf ear to him. He stepped out and completely crushed Zhu Xing's head. Even his soul was destroyed. Now, even Mei Qing Celestial Star Elder couldn't save him unless he went to the Death Clan. However, the Death Clan had joined Tianyun, so it was impossible to find him. Ding! Successfully killed, Zhu Xing obtained 2 billion star energy points and 1,000 kill points. Obtained unique star aspect, Heavenly Star Crimson Wolf. The items that dropped were a bit monotonous, but just the unique star aspect was enough to satisfy him. Zhu Xing's unique star aspect was definitely not bad. It might not be comparable to the 5-colored Emperor Dragon's unique star aspect, but it definitely had its own highlights. It was just that Zhu Xing couldn't fully use it. It didn't mean that he could use its power just because he could fuse them. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.